The fake blindfold speedrun that fooled everyone, including me. People have wanted me to watch this for a while. It's time. Here we go.
Hello, you absolute legends.
I like how he says including me. It's like he always gets fooled by this shit. Including me.
Last month, the streamer known as Queen Pwnzalot pretended to beat the dragon Alatreon wearing a blindfold. This garnered her quite a lot of attention, but when people experienced with the game she was playing and those experienced in blindfold speedrunning saw her video, they realized immediately it was fake. Unfortunately, Queen Pwnzalot's effort of faking a blindfolded run was extremely poor. Not only was she using strategies that are just flat out impossible to use while blind, but the blindfold she was using was so thin and obviously fake.
Oh yeah, you can see at the side.
Like, you know, like right there, you can see through it,
Even we, the viewers, could see straight through it. Soon enough, people were making videos calling out her fake run, and Queen Pwnzalot was beginning to get quite a lot of negative attention. As it turns out, the public doesn't appreciate liars and people who try to fake gaming accomplishments for clout. After receiving backlash, Queen Pwnzalot fought back, announcing that she was going to do another blindfolded run of the Dragon Alatreon, but this time with more proof. On the 14th of February,
I'm just gonna say the only thing that could have saved her is a live show, and I said that the last time we watched the last video involving this, is that the only way she could have proved it isn't by doing the same thing over again. That's not gonna prove anything. It would have to be a live fucking, like, I get that's a live stream, but a live show with full fucking camera, not just a box, but full camera. I'll give her kudos for showing herself and then her hands, but you also need a camera behind her. And you need also a camera showing the entire fucking room. And you also need full-on audio so that you can see if she's, you know, maybe having someone talk to her through... You know, because that could have easily been happening. As a streamer myself, I can choose what you hear coming from my system. I could have someone talking to me in Discord right now, for all you know, right? And just have it muted. Like, yeah. So there's so many things. Like she would need a full on, like, performance on a stage, more or less. Yeah. At this point, anyway, because, yeah.
February, she went live, and she was stacked to the gills with ironclad anti-cheat measurements. This time she wore a genuine blindfold. She had a hand cam. She had input display. She had paper covering up her monitors. And she was live. Surely there was absolutely no way she could cheat. And
that's certainly what I thought.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, why even have the monitors on? like, what is the point? If you're doing a blind run, like, wow, you know, save some power. Just turn the monitors right off. Yeah.
But the video is 1 minute in. Surely.
With all of this in place, she did it again. She beat the Dragon Alatreon in front of hundreds of people. She was so convincing that it seemed like everyone now believed she was legit.
But anyway, yeah, it looks like the Alatreon blindfold kill was actually real. It did actually happen.
Maybe we got it wrong. Maybe Queen Pwnzalot was just
I
more
can't believe he
than
thought it
everyone
was
else.
real.
And she could really do things blindfolded that no one else could.
Of course.
Or maybe, just maybe, she just cheated again, and we don't know how. Honestly, when I first saw her new successful attempt, I didn't know how she did it. But I did know two things. One, her gameplay was impossible to do blind. And two, people always underestimate the autistic power of speedrunners. I was committed to finding out how this was.
That's true. Like, I've watched Mario 64 speedrun videos. That's definitely true.
Was done. I envisioned sophisticated cheating methods that would be impossible to detect. I figured that whatever Queen...
All I'm gonna say is, like, you know, clearly we have discovered that, you know, because in the past videos, I was just putting out my own 2 cents and being like, yeah, she's cheating. you know, but there was no confirmation, right? We now have confirmation. But I'm just going to say, even if she hadn't cheated, and I mentioned this the last video as well, but off of that many kills, is it really an accomplishment? Like, you know, unless it's randomized with how he moves and stuff, after 4,600 kills, I would think you would just know, you know, how many steps to run that way, how many to go that way. Like, you'd be able to memorize it, right? You just, you do a run of it not blindfolded, and then put the blindfold on and be like, okay, forward 5, right 2, left 2. When that sound hits, go forward. When that sound hits, dodge, spin, whatever, right? Like, you would just know after that many. But yeah, clearly not, I guess. Clearly not, if she needed a see-through, because, like, come on, let's look at these blindfolds. The first one was a see-through blindfold, and this one's barely on her face. Like, that blindfold is so huge. like how is it even staying on? Yeah, like, that's crazy. To me, if you're going to be blindfolded, it should not be see-through, and it should be tight, you know, tight around so it doesn't fall. And yeah, I'm just going to say, I'm sure there was moments where she could see under that blindfold or whatnot. Yeah.
Pwnzalot did must be pretty genius to fool everyone so easily. For 3 days, I meticulously studied her video. I worked with experts to clarify game mechanics.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's another thing, is like, you can't do a video like that without having a bunch of YouTubers like analyze every fucking move you're making, right? She had to know that this would happen, right? Yeah.
Programmers to see if we could replicate her run using advanced software, but I was getting nowhere. And then, after 72 hours of running into dead ends, I finally saw it. I noticed that Queen Pwnzalot did something that gave everything away. The curtain was lifted, and the
You know, I've been pondering possibly buying this. You know, I played Monster Hunter like back years ago. I remember I did a stream, but it wasn't this one. It was like the first one, or it was old. It was an old version of it.
magician had exposed her secrets.
What?
I had the smoking gun, and within 20 minutes of seeing Queen Pwnzalot do this one thing, we knew exactly how she did it, and we had the proof.
What?
As it turns out, I was on the wrong track the entire time. I thought the method she used must have been smart because no one detected it. But in the end, it turned out to be the simplest and dumbest method I could have imagined. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how Queen Pwnzalot faked her most recent blindfolded takedown of the dragon Alatreon, and I guarantee that you'll be shocked at just how many things she did to try and fool you.
As I said, dude, I am now more impressed that she faked it than she did it. Am I crazy?
How did you not know it was faked the whole time, though? Like, there was so many things there. If there hadn't been so many hints to the fact that she was faking it, people would not have done videos. This isn't the first guy that did a video on her. There's been tons. And if it had just been one tiny little thing, people would have overlooked that shit. But there was so many that people started analyzing shit. You know, like, yeah. It's so crazy.
That's nuts. Let's be honest. If you're watching my channel, it's because you are a gigantic nerd.
Yeah.
I'm a huge nerd.
True.
You're a huge nerd. That's just the way it is. And as nerds,
What
there's
are
nothing more
you trying to
important
sell?
or fulfilling than having a really good gaming PC, which is why you should invest in a PC.
Is
from
it
today's
Starforge?
sponsor, Starforge Systems. Starforge makes things super easy, especially for people like me.
The funny part of this is if you go, well, actually, I'm not multi-streaming today, but we're on the Twitch. There's probably a Starforge link in the Twitch because I also benefit off of selling their computers. Yeah.
Me who don't know how or just don't want to build their own PC.
Yep.
They offer amazing pre-built PCs at all different price points. So if you go in with a certain budget, you know you're going to get the best you can for your money. Starforge PCs are used by tons of your favorite creators, including myself. They are built by hand in Austin, Texas by experienced builders. They look beautiful and they run smoothly. Plus, they are reliable, coming with a full 2-year parts and labor warranty. I rely on my PC for absolutely everything, including this YouTube channel. My standards are extremely high. I need something powerful and I need something quiet. And the PC I got from Starforge Systems was literally everything I could have asked for.
Isn't that great?
Please get yourself a PC you deserve. The link to Starforge Systems will be in the description.
How about
Go and check out their PCs today.
I heard those PCs were really good.
In my previous video, we looked at Queen Pwnzalot's earlier blindfolded runs, where she used a really thin, transparent sheet of material to cover her eyes and pretended that she couldn't see.
I don't have one myself, and if you are in the chat and you want a link, it's in the Twitch panel. But my computer's still good right now, so yeah, I'm not on the hunt for a new computer. Not unless it comes to me free. but yeah, as far as me spending money on one, we're good. My computer's still kicking and it's doing fine. And
it was so easy to debunk because everyone can just use their own eyes and see that her blindfold was fake. As far as her gameplay was concerned, it's also really obvious that she can see as well. She claims to use the audio to know exactly where the monster is, but years of blindfolded competition tells us that this is impossible. I also highlighted that beyond knowing where the monster is, it's also impossible to detect whether you are looking up or down. So if you see a blindfolded player using their mouse to look up or down, you know they can see. In her latest attempt, we see all of those impossible gameplay mechanics in action once again, and in some cases, it's even worse. She will access the menu in order to use items and mess up the camera, and then immediately and perfectly fix it. She even does this when the dragon is not making any sounds at all, so there is quite literally no audio cue, like in this example. Beyond the impossible vertical movement, we also see crazy head tracking in real time that is just laughable. I mean, just look at this gameplay.
That's true. Yeah.
In the last clip, she is rolling underneath the dragon, keeping the camera on its head perfectly as she does it. It's hilarious. And remember, looking up does nothing. It doesn't let her hit any higher. So there is literally no point in doing this other than to see...
I mean, but like, couldn't she just hear the dragon above her? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
The head, which makes no sense if you're blindfolded. All of this seems very confusing because she appears to be wearing a proper blindfold.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned before,
it's way too big.
Are even covered up with paper, meaning that she can't see them anyway.
Right.
This led me to consider other ways she might be playing without seeing. One way would be some kind of aimbot. Aimbots are common in many games, so it's possible if she had some kind of sophisticated software, it could help
like
her
a
aim
hack.
on the dragon.
Yeah.
This would solve the problem of locating the dragon and also solve the vertical aiming issue. However, this wouldn't solve all of the problems, like being able to dodge attacks that don't have sound cues. In one instance, she accidentally hooks onto Alatreon's leg instead of its head, and immediately releases before targeting the head again. But there is no audible difference between hooking onto the leg or the head, so there is no way she should have known.
That's a very good point. Carl brings up a very good point.
In order to solve issues like this, I theorized that maybe someone was talking to her and giving her instructions through Discord. With someone in her ear and some aim assist software, you might be able to play like this without sight. I reached out to Monster Hunter World expert TSC, who actually developed the first known aimbot of the game. According to him, if she was using an aimbot to achieve this effect, it would require software far more sophisticated than anyone in the community currently possesses. It seems unlikely that this was the method. The most common theory I saw online was that she was using pre-recorded gameplay.
Right.
Maybe she beat Alatreon earlier and just played that gameplay footage during her live
But then
stream.
what about...
I won't deny that that did cross my mind once a while, like a couple of weeks back when we were watching some of this shit, because that would be the way to do it, right? You have, if you're gonna, lie and cheat, that would be the way to do it. You have a pre-recorded kill, and then you have that on your stream, and then you put on your camera and you be blindfolded and, show your hands doing some stuff. And yeah, like that would be, but I also think that you wouldn't, unless you are a true professional and practice a lot, I don't think you would be hitting the keys properly. I think they would, the audience would see something with, your keyboard and your fingers, right? So, yeah, I don't know.
Before. I even made a video about a speedrunner who cheated by using a pre-recorded run during a live charity marathon. However,
idiot.
I didn't believe this was the case. Queen Pwnzalot had 2 cameras and they were both completely in sync. I studied her mouse movements and they always seemed to match what was going on in the game. And so did her keyboard inputs. Her mouse sensitivity was very high, so a lot of movements are hard to see, but I couldn't see any discrepancies.
That's what I was looking for whenever I first watched this, and it's like it's the buttons were about the exact same, right? The W and the D right there, the W and
they
the
match.
D. Like, I feel like it was very, very close. Yeah. That was the first thing I thought.
Yeah, like I never doubted that she actually streamed it. There was a slight moment where, I thought maybe is it pre-recorded, but then immediately I looked at her movements and it matched. So like clearly that was shot out of the window or park or whatever the saying is. That was shot immediately. But I always knew it was fake. I just knew it was fake. And even if it hadn't been fake, 4,600 kills. Like, you want to do a real fake blindfold, you do it early. Yeah. Before you've had all the practice.
Although she was actually playing. In my opinion, this also ruled out the idea that someone else was playing instead of her, perhaps by using remote assistance. This is an idea that the YouTuber Abisoft spent some time investigating to see if it could work. But aside from her mouse movements matching her gameplay, latency issues would also be a huge problem. Some people suggested that she was using a magician's blindfold and she could see through it. But this is extremely unlikely.
I think she can see under it.
Doesn't look like any fake blindfold I could find, and we know what blindfold she has because it was recommended to her. Blindfolded expert Mitris has the exact same one, and it looks exactly the same. One other thing people noticed, and trust me, we noticed this immediately too, is that after Queen Pwnzalot killed Alatreon and lifted the paper up, there was something on her screen. And it seemed like she noticed this and moved the paper back down to try and hide it.
I pause it. What is on the screen? And what is on the thing? Is Monster Hunter on her screen? And then watch what happens. She puts it back down to cover. She's quickly trying to hide it.
Wasn't she just covering the screen?
Game comes back up on screen.
This is the Windows Start menu, and the reason it appeared is because she hit the Windows key. In fact, she hits the Windows key multiple times throughout her blindfolded attempts. This bugged the hell out of us, and we had no idea why she was doing it. Could this have something to do with how she was faking her gameplay?
The Windows key.
Yeah, I've
How would that have anything to do? Yeah. What
yeah,
the
I
fuck?
don't know either. The
At seemingly
only
random
thing,
times, she
the only thing that you would really do the Windows key with, but it makes no sense with her run here. But it's for quick access to stuff, right? You can, I've sometimes if I'm in a full screen game, I'll use the Windows key to get to some of my stuff that's underneath. Oh. Now that I said it out loud. Yeah, I guess that would affect a blindfold run.
I think this tech issue has nothing to do with her blindfolded attempts. But an important question to ask
Toby?
is how did
What
she
is
know
that?
there was a problem? She was blindfolded
Yeah.
and couldn't see, but knew there was some kind of technical issue and always tried to fix it. And she did all of this without looking, and without saying anything to her audience. It's all really bizarre. In
I
the
don't
end,
know,
however,
to me-
after discovering the truth,
To me, if we're gonna like take out the pitchforks and all that, then I say she did it to get access to the Discord. Yeah. But if we're not gonna take out the pitchforks, I say it's probably nothing, But yeah. Yeah, I don't know, like the only reason to hit that key would be to get to stuff underneath, but she's showing like all this shit, right? So I don't know. Like clearly we know it's faked anyway, but I don't think that's the thing that faked it.
I realized this was a
You
giant
lose sound? Well, no, you don't, because like.
To be fair, hitting that key a lot, kind of risky. Like, it's okay to hit, that key while because what makes it risky is a super powerful game rolling. You can have the best computer going on, but you start like spamming the fucking window key, like eventually your game is gonna start not liking you. Yeah.
Like if you lose sound, no, because you can have the setting on. Like if you lose sound, then I'm pretty sure that, well, I don't know about this, then the audio would stop broadcasting to OBS as well. If you had the sound and broadcast setting, yeah, it wouldn't show in OBS either.
Yeah.
I revisited a question I had from day one. There was something that Queen Pwnzalot did that was really strange, and I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, and I also want to say, like, so far, I am not convinced that it's fake. I'm just convinced that it's very sus.
Immediately after she covers her main monitor with paper, while she is attempting to distract her viewers, she
I'm not
holds
convinced
down
it's
her
real
left
either.
mouse button for 10 seconds. This was actually one of the very first things I noticed when investigating her run, but I never had an answer as to why she did it. Normally, when you hold a button down for a few seconds, it activates something, and this was one of the reasons I thought she was using some kind of software. But I had overlooked something that was so obvious and so simple, I can't believe I didn't see it
Look
immediately.
at that chat.
Once
Every time she looks at something, they're like, oh, what's she looking at? Oh, she's looking to the right. What's over on the right? God, it must be rough being a blindfold, even, whether you're faking it or not, it's still gotta be fucking rough because you're being analyzed like every fucking second.
I understood what she was doing.
And the worst part is she's a girl. That is the worst fucking part. I hate to say it, but I would rather see a guy do a fake blindfold. Girls already get enough shit in the gaming world, and now you've worsened it, girl. Yep.
It was game over. Holding her mouse button down for 10 seconds told me everything I needed to know. It unlocked all of her secrets. It revealed to me that there was in fact a third hidden monitor.
Oh,
Why
there
would that matter if
was.
She's wearing a blindfold, though.
I kept saying that they needed a camera behind her, like, yeah. I was wondering if there was a third,
Queen Pwnzalot wants us to believe that she only has 2 monitors. When she covers them up, she makes sure to verbally state that her monitor on the left has all...
So, this girl, like, I get that, you know, prior to this, she was a small streamer. I know a few extra details to this video because I've been following it. She was a small streamer. This kind of grew her, and, you know, since she did fake it, she's gotten a lot of harassment, and I think she, like, pulled down her Twitter page or whatever. And, you know, all I gotta say is you did it to yourself, but, you know, but I'm just gonna say, like, you talk about your shit, right? Like, I have told you guys many things about my setup, or, you know, you see stuff in my room. Like, there's no fucking way. No fucking way. Like, did she hide a third monitor from the get-go before she even decided to do blindfolded runs? How did no one know that she had a third monitor? No one ever asked her setup. She never put a picture up or something. Yeah, like, I have a hard time believing that, like, her stream didn't know a third monitor existed. Yeah. There's no way.
all of her other stuff on it.
Yeah.
To the main attraction as we get our duct tape for our main monitor, because, yeah. There's the other one. So you guys know. There it is. With all my other stuff on it. Boom.
This is a lie. In truth, she has a third monitor to her right, off camera. Before she covers it with paper, we can see that her main monitor has her OBS streaming software on it.
Yeah.
This shows her gameplay, and it also has her Twitch chat docked into it as well. One thing that struck me as odd is how she decided to wait until her...
See, this is why you need a camera behind, because it is easy to hide things. Like my room right now, I feel like you guys see a good portion of it, but okay, so here's the bed. There's a whole closet you're not seeing, a big ass fucking window here, a table here, a bookshelf you're not seeing. You know, I've got, well, the door you barely see, you know, and like, you know, I got some stuff over in the side there. Like, it is easy to hide shit in the room. You know, I'm not hiding it because of a blindfold. You know, I'm just, you know, honestly, I'm not hiding it at all. It's just I need to be in the middle of the screen and my camera's here. And, you know, like, yeah, it's as simple as that. But yeah, with a blindfold, like, I'm surprised that's not like a prerequisite to do these runs. Like, I get that they're for fun, but this turned into a challenge. Like, how is there not some rules on the positioning of your cameras and how many cameras, you know? Like, kudos for having the second camera, you know, on the keyboard with your fingers and all that, but you need one behind. Yeah, the audience needs to see your monitors. I think the monitors are the most important part.
Oh god, I'm sorry, I didn't think this through.
Yeah, sure.
But the reason she did this is because she had to ensure that what she did was hidden from the camera. This is where the beauty of the input display comes in, because we can still...
I see. So he's saying that she put the paper up in order to obscure the chat's vision of the monitor at the exact same time, because she was using a capture device for only the game and not for her entire PC. So if she tabbed out of the game, it would not display on OBS.
Still see everything she's doing.
Wait
but
for
it's
it?
obvious
Okay.
she is trying to hide it. What
Okay.
she does next is very sneaky. She lifts up the paper on her main monitor, which has her OBS on it. She clicks on her OBS window and holds down the mouse key. Then, while she is holding down the mouse button, she
Well,
distracts
how do we know she clicked on her OBS window?
her audience with verbal diarrhea.
Where is... That's why we go through what we go through, right? You know? and it's the way that it has to be. And,
Next is the key that I should have seen immediately. What is the most common thing you do when you hold down your mouse button? You drag windows. While talking, she drags her OBS to her hidden monitor on the right. We can confirm this with the input display. We can see her hand move it to the right, and she even looks at her hidden monitor on the right when she does this.
that's why we go through what we go through, right?
I'm just gonna say, like, personally, I think, for starters, she shouldn't be peeking under that paper. The minute the paper goes over the screen, the blindfold starts. Like, I think that's how it should work. You put the paper over the screen, blindfold starts. She's probably gonna use the excuse that she was like, you know, she's a small streamer, right? She's probably paying attention to chat. Fuck that. You're doing a blindfold stream. Your chat can wait until the kill happens. You know, like, yeah. I just think once everything's set up, your chat watches your stream, you do the blindfold kill, and then you can lift up the paper and yeah, because I have such a big feeling that she's gonna be like, oh, I was just, you know, reading chat.
And,
She did. She really did.
Will use her OBS on the hidden monitor to see the
But the hidden monitor, like, she's still using the blindfold, though.
game. Immediately after this,
Right? And you can clone screens. So, yeah, easily she could be seeing it because, you know, you can make your monitors do whatever the fuck you want, basically.
she pretends to move the OBS to her left monitor.
Yeah.
alright,
Just wait. I know. I get it.
okay. I'm sorry.
She moves her mouse to the left, she looks to the left, and she even says that she's moving something. However, we can see on the input display, she doesn't even click her mouse.
Move that over, okay.
Now, despite the fact her monitor on the right is supposed to be a secret, she cannot help but stare at it constantly. She even responds to this exact message in chat while looking at it. However, mid-sentence, she realizes how stupid this is and stops talking.
So what does it say? I would 1000% upload your run, including the whole setup you just did entirely unedited. But that's already been told. I think the only way, for starters, well, we've probably heard the end of this, right? After this video, we'll see, but I can't imagine she comes back with another. She's, you know, this is video number 3. She's getting a lot of hate by this point. You know, I doubt there's anything she can do to come back from this unless she gets another camera to zoom out the entire room. Yeah. Just so you can see everything that's going on. The only thing that kind of is weird about the third monitor, it sounds so simple to just be like, yep, that's where the fake came from, right? But she'd have to be constantly moving her head to get to that monitor. Like, don't get me wrong, I believe it was a faked run, but there's more to it. There's more to it because it was to the right. Well, people are thinking it's to the right. I don't know if the third monitor was like proven or anything. But if it's to the right, she'd be like that a lot, right? You can go like this, I guess, you know, like, well, you guys can't see me too clearly probably, but like I'm looking to the right now. Yeah. but you wouldn't see enough. Like, yeah, I don't know. Would you? and she's blindfolded, right? So then there's the fact that if that's the case, if her third monitor was to the right, and then let's say she's just looking like this and she's just moving her right eye, to the right side so she can see, the right monitor. And I can see my fans to the right of me. Well, it's the heater right now because it's winter. So I can see it perfectly clear when I do that. I can see all the buttons and everything, right? So you would be able to see it, but she's still got that blindfold, which proves my original point that blindfold was too big. Yeah. Well, we'll see if they come up with any other evidence here. But if it's because of the third monitor that she didn't say she had, yeah. I originally started this whole debate by being like, how like still, but now that I've, literally looked at my heater out of the corner of my eye, yeah, I guess, yeah, with a big blindfold like that, and you can see enough by just a little bit of, looking to the right, and yeah, and I did it without moving. I'm literally looking straight at you guys, looking out of the corner of my right eye. So yeah, it's doable. And it would be more doable because she's blindfolded, right? So one bad thing about her being blindfolded is you can't see the guilt. Like that's one of the negatives, right? You can't read her because you can't see her, right? So yeah. So she could be, working harder to look out the right, and you'd know no different, right? Yeah.
All right. Oh yeah. Everything.
Well, and she also clearly she turned at her camera and she was trying to fix her hair too. And girls do that whenever they're looking in the mirror.
What was the last thing you said? Unedited.
The funny thing
it's
about
a
Queen
stream.
Pwnzalot reading chat from her hidden monitor is that it's completely unnecessary. There is
it's like I almost don't believe that because of how dumb it is. There's no way. Really?
no need to have chat there
There's
in the
no
first
way.
place. And it just causes her to constantly look at it, making it obvious it's there. And it also
That's why I said earlier that, if you're gonna do a fucking blindfold run, your chat will understand. Your chat is there to fucking cheer you on, or, new people to see if you can actually do it. Your chat will fucking understand. You just tell them, okay, we're starting the blindfold run. I'm not gonna be looking at chat until the end. And they'll be fine. I get you're a small streamer. Sometimes not answering chat will lead to, people leaving. But, who the fuck cares? If they're gonna leave, then they're gonna leave. Yeah. I just, that should have been said right off the bat. There is no reason to look at chat. You're in a boss fight. Yeah. I've never done a blindfolded run before, and I don't look at chat when I'm in a boss fight. And I am probably one of the most responsive streamers out there, especially small streamers, when it comes to chat. I talk to everyone that comes in. I see every message. I respond to most of them, unless they're stupid or they just don't need a response. Point is, if I'm in a boss fight, you'll get a response when it's over, right? And that's not blindfolded. So for sure, blindfolded, your chat will understand.
also causes her to screw up by responding to it. I'm guessing she just couldn't help herself and she really wanted to.
The thing is, it's not that it causes you to screw up. People will instantly think you're cheating. You do that to remove an extra accusation, basically.
to see all of her fans talking about her as she was playing.
100%.
So we know that she has a monitor to her right, but how does she see it? Well, the secret is in how she's wearing her blindfold. She's wearing it very, very loosely.
Yes.
It's barely able to stay on her face, and on top
And
of that,
I just
she
proved
wears it
how
very
you could
high.
see it.
This is
We'll
not
see
how
if
you're
he says
supposed
the
to
same
wear
thing.
a blindfold. Anyone who owns a blindfold like this knows you don't wear them loose, you wear them tight. If you wear them loose, light gets in. By wearing her blindfold loose, she can see through a small gap between her nose and the blindfold. The gamer Juzzy has already replicated her exact setup. In his case, he showed his 2 monitors which he turned off, he wore a proper blindfold, he used the exact same input display, and he had a hand cam. With all of this, he also killed Alatronic.
See, that's how she should have done it. Like, I don't understand the covering the monitors. Just power it off. The game's still running. Like, you know, technically you don't. The only reason you need a monitor is for visual, right? Everything's going to continue to run whether your monitor is on or off, you know? Like, yeah. I would just shut off the monitors, and for him, you can't really tell if he's wearing it tight, but I imagine he's trying to prove a point here. I imagine he is. It's just the blindfold looks so fucking big no matter which way you look at it. So as a viewer looking in, yeah, I think the only way to really like prove anything with that blindfold is you'd have to full screen your screen and show it close up, do a couple of turns, maybe turn your head all the way to show that it's pretty tight. I imagine it's wrapped by an elastic or something at the back. And yeah, like you'd have to, yeah, because it still looks big.
I'm gonna be honest, whenever I saw this, I thought that he had some like sort of thing that was inside of the blindfold. Some like fucking like Google Glass or like Apple.
Oh my god. I am like, it's so hilarious to hear him say that, because I don't trust anything, pretty much. Like, I am skeptical about a lot of things. I need a lot of evidence to believe it, which is why I never believed this to begin with. A lot of people are instantly proud of people, and then they find out that they're fake. I'm kind of the opposite. I'm like, yeah, how'd you do that? What was the trick? I've always been that kind of person. So him saying that something's inside the blindfold, it's funny to hear because it's not a thought that really crossed my mind. But it's funny because, I've watched enough shit of Asmon to know that he's quite a bit more trusting than I am. So, yeah. Yeah, it's like, for him to say that, it's hilarious.
Or Apple Vision Pro. That's what I thought it was.
As you can see now, my monitors are off and I'm blindfolded. But despite my short-sightedness without glasses, I can clearly see these targets and shoot at them.
Uh-huh.
And why is that? It's because...
Without glasses! Crazy! Yeah! Because that would make it even tougher if you're a person that has bad sight to begin with, and, if you wear glasses, clearly you're that person. Yeah, that I'm impressed. We'll see how he did it, but I am impressed. That is a whole nother level of doing a blindfold, because there's 3 levels here, right? There's, a person who can see good normally putting a blindfold on. Then there's a person who wears glasses putting a blindfold on. And then there's an actual blind person playing the game, which does exist, There are people that, have made videos anyway. I don't know. I guess, they could have been lying about being blind. Who knows? But those are the 3 levels. And I feel like he definitely falls in the medium difficulty.
There's a secret here. right now I'm wearing the blindfold, right? But I can see out the gaps between my nose and
Of
my
course,
blindfold.
yeah.
And if I wore it even looser, I'd be able to see out the sides, left and right, in my peripheral vision. Then
Exactly.
The
yeah, and her monitor was to the right, and I proved earlier that I wasn't blindfolded, but I proved earlier how much I can see to the side there. So, and you guys, when you're blindfolded, you wouldn't see the person's eyes, right? So you're just seeing if they're moving their head. And I was like looking straight at you guys. You could see through my eyes probably that I'm like trying to look to the right, but but blindfolded, you would just not even notice because she can do it without moving her head, right?
It's the fact that another thing you guys noticed, there's 2 monitors here, right? But they're not the only ones. There's a 3rd monitor on my left.
On top of wearing her blindfold very loosely, Queen Pwnzalot also sits back in her chair and looks up in an unnatural way. This is to get a better viewing angle. With her old blindfold over multiple days
She was
and
looking
weeks.
down.
And for that entire time, she always sat like this. She was leaning forward and looking directly in front of her. This is because while her blindfold was partially obscuring her sight, she could see straight through it and was looking at the monitor directly in front of her. With the new blindfold, she can't see through the front of it, which is why she has now completely changed her sitting position so
and you can see even with like compared to the other guy, hers is even farther up.
See down and to the side. This is not a normal way to sit, and world-class blindfold speedrunner Bubsia confirms that when you see someone sitting in this position, it's a giant red flag.
They're trying to look.
What I don't get is, can't we just do a blindfold run where it's just like full like his is pretty good, but like could we just like cover the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, like a ski mask, except you can't see out of it. It's like you don't need the mouth covered, but if you don't cover more of the nose, they're always gonna accuse you of being able to see under it. It's that you want to take that extra accusation out of the way, right? And so you just cover it all, that way there's no corners, and they just need better blindfolds.
If I curve up even more, but that's already looking very sus, I guess, if you sit there like your neck breaking. If I sit like this, for example, I can see half of my monitor. I can see OBS right now, literally. I can see the volume meters going up. I can see the picture. If I turn a bit, I can see the other monitor.
And it's as simple as that. There is a hidden monitor on the right, and she is playing through her OBS, which she discreetly moved to it. I can't believe I spent so much time researching aimbots when the solution was so stupidly basic. And while it's so easy just to say there was a hidden monitor, which some people did, it's an entirely different story to provide concrete evidence. The fact that we can literally see her move OBS to the hidden screen, the fact that she reads chat from it, the fact that she stares at it constantly, the fact that she wears her blindfold so loosely, and the fact that she sits in such a weird position, all prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this is the way she cheated. But here is my favorite part. After she has killed Alatreon, and while paper is still covering her screen, she looks directly at the hidden monitor and moves the camera around perfectly. It's like she's not even trying to hide it. And beyond all,
and she wouldn't have known that because the paper would be in front, so she wouldn't know where to move the camera.
All of this, the simple fact remains, the way she played the game is impossible to do if you can't see. Now let's be real for a second. At the end of the day, this entire thing isn't a big deal. This is just silly, fun internet drama, and it's just...
This is a huge deal. I get that to people that this is just a game, it's just a video, it's just a blindfold. for fun type deal. But this, like everything, all small things can turn into big things. And I'll tell you straight out why this is a big deal. One, cheating and lying is never a good thing. And it definitely, we all know there's a bunch of cheaters and liars out there, and we all know that the internet is definitely full of bullshit, and people portray who they want to portray, right? They're not necessarily themselves. But it's not good to, to just accept that. Two, I guess this part's not a huge deal, but she is a small creator that became big off of lying. So I guess it depends. That's more a moral thing. I personally think that that's not a great way to grow your content, but whatever. And then, three. I said before, she's female, so she, it's like, we don't need more hate over here. And, that's all I got for you so far, but I'm sure I can dig up some more reasons why this is bad.
It's really interesting to learn how Queen Pwnzalot faked her blindfold run.
Sure.
Personally, I'm not emotionally charged about this. I just love trying to expose video game fraudsters because I enjoy it. This whole back and forth is honestly really entertaining. But make no mistake, her behavior...
Yeah, I think this is great. Like, I feel like I'm usually the person who's lying. I'm very rarely get lied to and actually believe it and get fucked over by something like this. This actually got me because I didn't know this. I didn't know this much stuff. I got finessed, man. I did. That's incredible. You got bamboozled. I did. I think a lot of people did. You didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know. Happens when you get...
Only the people that are used to trusting people got bamboozled. I saw through this from the beginning, But I've gone through a lot of shit in my life, and I've had a lot of people lie to me. And yeah, you eventually get good at seeing it. And with this one, it's not like I started watching it and instantly thought it was fake, but, I analyzed the situation as I usually do. I've always been one of those people, I always wanted to be like a detective when I was a kid, but I didn't want to go through the schooling for it. So it's literally the only reason. But I've always kept that detective side in me, and so I've always analyzed shit like this.
Get old. No, I always appreciate things like this happening. It keeps you sharp. Yeah, I'll be real. Like, yeah, this definitely fooled me, man. It did. Like, I didn't even think of this.
I'm doing pretty
good. And it's not a good thing. There are gamers who spend thousands of hours legitimately trying to do amazing things without the ability to see. Blindfolded gaming takes a lot of hard work, and it takes a lot of ingenuity. And Queen Pwnzalot keeps taking a giant steaming dump on all of their efforts. Because of her actions, people are going to trust the accomplishments of real gamers even less. Skepticism will disproportionately rise, and the public will become even more cynical.
Call everything fake,
But on the flip side, maybe that's a good thing. The amount of people who threw common sense to
I think that it is. I think it is. Because it's always better to be discerning and to be skeptical than to believe things.
Yeah, that's the person I am. I didn't pause for that reason, though. I paused because, this is why, like, when you're a kid and, you're joking around and, like, say you're, you pretend to be dead and boom, you're alive, and you do that a few times, the next time you're actually, like, dying, no one's gonna believe you and you're just gonna bleed on the fucking ground, and that's why these kind of things are bad, because, thanks for the cheer, Phaser. And we're watching, it's an Asmon video on the Blindfold. Did you watch those? There's been a few of them, but this is the last one. Yeah. Because the first couple, people believed the blindfold was real. And then they got evidence, I guess. Yeah. They analyzed the situation. So this has been analyzed by people who are professionals in the blindfolds, you know? Yeah. The guy speaking, he is not, I don't think he's a blindfold professional, but he interviewed some professionals to get some extra details on, you know, what would be possible with a blindfold on, and, you know, so yeah. And it resulted in her faking the blindfold.
It's always better to be skeptical.
Side and took her runs at face value is pretty shocking. Maybe people do need to be a bit more skeptical, and maybe this lesson was an important one to learn. Let me know what you think in the comments. I
think both. I'll be honest, like, because
I'm just gonna say, as a very skeptical person, it has pros and cons, you know. It's good to be skeptical. You know, you should not believe everything you say or you see. But if you're too skeptical, yeah, what kind of life is that, right? What kind of fucking life is that to not believe anything? Yeah, so you gotta stay in the middle, you know, be skeptical. Don't believe all the bullshit, but don't just not trust anyone. And I say that from someone who doesn't trust anyone. You know, it's you know, it's not a great way to go on. You know, try to stay in the middle. Yeah.
I mean, clearly,
the reality is, like, when it comes to the blindfolds phaser, I never really, like, I immediately knew this one was bullshit. But a lot of them I don't consider bullshit because they're practicing thousands and thousands of fucking attempts. At a point, if it's a boss where it stays the same each time, you could just memorize that shit. You could be like, go forward 5, you know, in 10 seconds, do a dodge, you know, like you could memorize it. Yeah, so I don't consider them all bullshit. But I do think they're more a memory game than just, you know, hey, I beat this boss blind, you know? Like, it's more on memory. It's perfecting a fight and then putting a blindfold on. But you get any of those blindfold people and be like, hey, this is a new game. Blindfold on, beat this guy. They'd all fucking lose. There's no way. Yeah.
Like, she really put a lot of effort into faking this, and I think that it was a relatively good fake. As I said, it impresses me more that she faked it, and it was this hard to figure out, or at least it was for me.
I think her biggest problem with the fake, because, like, one of the reasons, you know, there's a few reasons people know about this blindfold. One, you know, if you watch Asmon, yeah, he's been covering it. And 2, blindfold is pretty hype content. It's why people do it. And then the third would be that she got a lot of fucking hate. And that's why I paused to just say that if you're gonna fucking fake a blindfold, and I think Asmon's giving her too much credit. Are we gonna sit here and say she intentionally faked it hoping no one would find out, or did she just plainly cheat? That there's a difference, fake and cheat. You know, the way he makes it sound is that she did it for content, and yeah, I think she straight out cheated. Like, I'm just gonna say, I think she hoped to not get caught and hoped to build her channel or whatever off of a blindfold run that people would be impressed with. She's female, so she thought that would build it a little more to have, you know, say a she's not bad looking. So a good looking female beating a boss that's hard, that some people can't beat not blindfolded. She beats it blindfolded. Like, yeah, clearly we know where the intent was, right? And I think the only thing that she probably regrets right now is that she got caught.
What I think is the most telling about this is that she stopped streaming. And she hasn't made any posts or anything like that about it, right? Let me link you guys the video.
Yeah, because the hate
honest,
probably,
Carl did the
right?
research that, I'll be real, I should have done. I should have known what he knew. I should have looked into it more. I didn't. He did. Give his video a like. He was right. Yeah, people are right. Yeah, I did not know. And like, he knows way more about this than I do. Like, because I've watched a lot of his other videos.
See, the thing is, I get that, there may be some additional info you can get from people who have done blindfolds, but there was a lot of basic info here. You don't need to be a blindfold runner to know that your blindfold should not be see-through. It should be also tight on your head so that it's not falling to areas that'll make it so you can see it. You also shouldn't, be lifting up the thing on your, on your monitor. Maybe, tell your chat that you'll talk to them at the end of the fight. Like the fact that she hid the third monitor, like there's all of those things. You don't need a blindfold professional to fucking tell you that those are clear signs of someone possibly cheating. If your girlfriend is going to your best friend's house every night, are you going to be the dumbass sitting there thinking that she's just, chilling with your best friend, not fucking him? Same deal. Same fucking deal. Like if it really, when people believe so easily, it really says a lot about them. It says that they probably get hurt without even realizing it. Yeah.
Talking about speedruns, and so he knew more about it. Thank God for that. Yeah, this is a great fucking video. I'd like to respond as our moderator. Okay, this is the same guy from the last video that was talking about it. Okay.
As her moderator.
This is her. She has not responded yet. All right, you're going to respond. White Knights to the rescue? Her mod's coming in like a sheep for the slaughter? No. I mean, he just wants to explain his point of view. What's wrong with that? Yeah, her mod did nothing wrong. Yeah, keep in mind, guys, the mod did nothing wrong. Be nice, guys. Hey, what's up? Yo. Hey, can you guys hear me?
The mod is just sick and tired of fucking banning everyone that comes into her stream calling her shit. That's probably the real reason. He is just tired of using that ban hammer.
Yes.
Okay, we're good. Yeah, thank you, Tilly. I appreciate you setting it up. Thank you very much.
Hi, thank you, Tilly. And hi, Asmon and chat. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. I appreciate your time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I appreciate yours as well. I mean, obviously, I'm sure you've probably seen the video. And so, do you think that she cheated?
I know for a fact that she didn't.
Okay. How do you know that?
Because I've watched her do it
Why
myself
would he
live.
admit it?
And before, if I may I have a minute or two?
Go ahead.
I understand that everyone will call me biased, and I know that.
And
I understand that and I am biased. I will admit that wholeheartedly and completely. I am biased. Mm-hmm. I've watched her do it personally. I've watched her do it multiple times personally. I also helped with communication with Mitriz, the blindfold expert, who's been helping her with the setup and everything that we went through. Mm-hmm. I'm happy to answer any questions regarding her setup. There is no need for anyone to lie about anything or not be transparent. She did nothing wrong. She did not cheat anything. She has not cheated anything. And I understand that there's a lot of skepticism. I understand there's a lot of questioning. And I think that it's important for us to understand that conjecture does not equal proof. There is no physical proof. There's a lot of conjecture. There's a lot of examining many.
Did you see that comment? Someone in chat's like, he's reading from the third monitor.
things that are on the table that people claim, oh, she did this, she moved that, she did, but there's no actual proof that any of this happened.
Well, there's no proof that it did either.
And of course, and what I would suggest.
And yes, that is the important thing to remember, unless something comes up at the end of this video. But the thing to remember is, while we are all saying she cheated, there really still isn't full-on evidence. You know, just it's obvious. It's obvious that, you know, she did. But as far as actual evidence, you know, that, yeah, there's nothing proven.
Asmongold, and to anyone who questions whether or not she can and did do this, I want to legitimately ask, what would it take to prove that she is indeed legitimate? If it meant covering the third monitor, showing a camera with all three monitors.
So we have proof
showing
the
that there
third.
are no other monitors present, showing that she's still wearing the exact same blindfold that was recommended by a world expert, used by Mitriz and Bubsy.
The only thing that could do it is to have the camera behind her. Have a full room camera set up.
You know, what does it take? Because I know for a fact that she can do this. She's done it not once, not twice, but several times. Her second attempt.
See, there was a guy in chat saying do it at TwitchCon. If I was her and I hadn't faked it, right? We're pretty, it's kind of late to say she didn't, but if you were trying to prove something, and you know what, you could totally fucking turn the tables. You could have people, hating you because you faked it, and then you just do it for real, and then you could wipe out all this fake, right? Like she doesn't realize how much power she has right now, right? Like you should do something. I don't know when the next TwitchCon is. Maybe it already passed, but TwitchCon is an awesome place to do it, because you would have witnesses, you would have cameras at all angles. It would 100% be live. And if you could just actually do it without cheating, you would wipe out all, like, no one would even remember about the fucking fake, because you would wipe that out by actually doing it. Like, if it was me, I would be sitting there fucking practicing, and I would do an actual fucking show of accomplishing it. Yeah, and then that would put you'd have all these stages. As a, she's a small-time creator, like you would build off that. You would build so much. You would have the blindfold people believed, then the blindfold that was fake, and then the blindfold that was, streamed live at a fucking TwitchCon that was legit. And then at the end, you could do some fucking stupid ass video of how it's been rough, trying to protect yourself from all these accusations. Like, you're a girl, you can make it, you can make people fall into your lap. Yeah, that is 100% what I would fucking do. Yeah, if it was me, I would just legit do it, and then I'd be like, hey, fuckers, you didn't believe me? Yeah, that is exactly what I'd fucking do.
Attempt is a purely legitimate run that was done with every specification that Mitriz mentioned, and it's met with nothing but criticism, which I understand. I don't think that it's unreasonable to be skeptical, but I think to bend an argument to fit your purpose is not appropriate. To say that, oh, this is what must have happened because this is what I believed happened, when it didn't happen. She's being accused of a crime she didn't commit.
I
know that for a fact. I'm willing to put
this
money
is
on
just a blindfold.
So, okay. She tilted her head in a different angle whenever she was wearing the other blindfold.
Well, do you mean that the second blindfold versus the first?
Yeah.
Sure. Whenever you're under a stress response, your body reacts differently. You position yourself differently. In the very first run, when she's wearing the first blindfold, it was a carefree run on stream done with friends for a random, hey, I wonder if I can do this. It was a completely different circumstance.
My understanding of the psychological body language, whenever that happens, people usually actually huddle up more to protect their mid body, because that's where your organs are. That's where I'm a physician. You don't. That's not true.
Of course you are.
It's not entirely true. Well, which one is more true than the other?
I'm sure this whole chat is a fucking physician.
And so her changing her body position, her head position.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I can't believe he actually said it. It's like, even if I was a doctor, I don't think in any world would I ever admit to being a doctor in a fucking Twitch chat. Because it's such a meme to say it. Like, no one will ever fucking believe you. Like, no one is ever gonna believe that you're not some fucking kid in the fucking basement of your mom's house. Like... No one's gonna ever believe you're a doctor.
I'd be happy to send you the same blindfold she used. I would encourage you to try to do what she's been accused of doing, and to see just how difficult that would even be.
I could barely do it with the blindfold off. All right, so I don't want to get that far.
Me too. I haven't even played this one. I've played other Monster Hunter games, but. Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, maybe I'll give it a try. But yeah, I could never do a blindfold run. I get too angry. Yeah, it's like can you imagine, like, you know, some of you guys, a lot of you guys have seen my rage when I'm just playing normally. Like, can you imagine if I was fucking blindfolded, taking, 1,000 attempts on a fucking boss? Oh my god. Yeah, that would just be a whole other level of rage. No way I'd ever do it. I got too much anger in me.
Congratulations, by the way. We're all very happy for you for getting that kill.
We finally fucking got it. But
absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Okay.
Correct.
So, have you seen her do it in person?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, he has.
Like, not over camera, but literally you being in the same room.
I have been standing in the same exact room. Yes.
Okay.
So he's at the third monitor then. I'm just gonna say, if he is telling the truth and he was in the room, why can't he do that again and be the camera behind her? Like, and I'd be so surprised if Asmon doesn't suggest that. Because, one, I gotta imagine he'd want to see if this is bullshit. I would. And two, that's the solution, right? If you can't get to a TwitchCon or, do some sort of staged version, and by staged, I mean an actual stage that you stand on, then have the person who supposedly has been in the room with her before, be the camera behind her. It's the one camera we're missing that would be the most beneficial camera out there, because at that point, you see what she's supposed to not see. Right? You'd see the entire room. Yeah, it's like, if you want to clear her name, that, be the good mod you're trying to be, I guess, and be the camera behind her.
But I also want to bring up the point that it doesn't seem like anybody else has been held to the standard that she's been held to. We have CSI investigating experts that have been going to every single, and yet no other professional has been held to the same standard that she has been. No one's asking everyone else to have. Well, I think it's because of the initial conjecture that she faced when she did her first run. And she is a nobody that decided to do this on a whim, and that caught the entire world
Hey, Staffo.
by storm.
This is the last video, I think. I think it is. But he brought someone on and interviewed him. So, yeah. So this is the one, because in the last one we watched, they thought it might be fake. This is it is fake. Should this be that live video she did? It's the same thing. Yeah, it's just basically, they did more analyzing of that video. And remember, she had redid it with the new blindfold. She started with that like little knit blindfold that you could see through, and then went to this. So now they analyzed it and brought in some like professional blindfold runners and all that. And yeah, so they found out she had a third monitor. Yeah, so that's basically how it happened. She had the third monitor. The blindfold is like big on her face. So, and I was proving earlier that you can like sit here, look out the corner of your eye, and like the stream wouldn't see your head move, right? So yeah. So that's the first half of this was, a different guy going over the basics of what makes it a fake run. And then now it's her mod. That's the other voice you hear. And yeah, her mod protecting her ass. He claims to have been in the room when she did the well, not the time she did it, but he says he claims to have been in the room at one point when she, did the kill. And he's a doctor. he even said so, Staffo. He is a doctor. Oh, we both were saying it was fake. It was obvious it was fake, but this guy wants to try to, it's because Asmon's covering it, right? It's this guy clearly wants to save her name, whatever. Like, she's getting a lot of hate now, right? Because it's been found out. We just said it was fake without fucking evidence, right? But now there's evidence that it was fake. And so she's getting a lot of hate from it. I guess she stopped streaming. She deleted her Twitter page. Yeah, so this is the mod trying to fix the situation. And the only thing I gotta say is, for starters, you gotta have thick skin to be a streamer anyway. And second, don't put yourself in the position. You already have to have thick skin. You don't need to go prove to people that you're a horrible human being and have them direct the hate for an actual reason. Like, it's... Yeah, that makes it worse. It's like one thing if someone just decides they're gonna hate you. Who the fuck cares? You don't know them. Who cares? But, like, to give them an actual reason. Their speedrunners have been doing this blindfold fun, and they are failed 50% of the time. Oh, I would totally fail a blindfold. Yeah. I'd be raging the fuck out. Yeah. Like, I'm already ragey when it comes to boss fights. Because the reality is I don't want to kill any boss for, I don't know, maybe more than 20 times. These people are doing thousands. Like, fuck no. Fuck no. Like, I got other games to play.
That it's a person who's a nobody. You even said it yourself. When this all started, she had 250 followers.
Something like that.
Right? She had less followers than I do. Yeah, I'm just gonna say, like, this girl was literally a nobody. You know, like I'm a nobody, and I'm at least in the thousands, you know? Like, yeah, she had 250 followers. Yeah. It's like it's gotta be rough. You did good. You probably brought those 250 to a shit ton, especially when Asmon covered your video, and now you got everyone hating you. It's like, is that really the way you wanted to grow? Yeah, but you don't try to grow your content. You just stream. Like, you just stream for fun, right? Yeah, it's different if you're not trying to grow your content, then yeah, you're gonna stay at 50, right? Like, you have to put effort into it. Yeah.
She has exploded practically overnight. She's been killing this monster for years. Decides to do something that shakes the world up, turns the world on its feet, or on its head, excuse me, creates a world record practically accidentally, and how unlikely and crazy that is. And I will argue that just because someone thinks something is improbable does not make it impossible. I hear the word impossible being thrown around a lot, and something can be very improbable but still possible. And when you have done something so many times and are a true expert at one particular thing, you can do a lot of things that many other people can't do. She's not a blindfold person. She's not. She never has been. She's not a professional blindfolded speedrunner.
So then how do you think she was able to like rebalance the camera? Because I think that's one of the main points of difference.
Sure. The person who taught her how to fight that monster is one of the world's leading experts, Azrael, who has 8,700 kills on the monster, and taught her how to do it. Well, because it teaches her how to do it the exact same way every single time. And the camera balancing is actually not that hard to do. I myself am no expert. I can't do it. But other people that have very similar kill counts are able to do it.
If it's not that hard to do, then why can nobody else do it in the blindfold community?
Yeah.
Because I think it's too early.
You saying it's too early for any other game? Because, like, you know, there's, for example, like, you know, like Little Aggie, right? He's also a speedrunner for Sekiro. I'm sure he's probably killed a lot of the bosses in Sekiro probably as many times, if not more times, than she's killed Altrion. And he's using lock-on. So, like, how is it that every single other person in this community is not able to rebalance their camera in any circumstance on any game in any capacity without a lock-on? But she was.
I'm not a blindfolded expert, so I'm not sure. But I will say that again, I think that if people in Monster Hunter specifically with this particular game, I think that if people had enough time to continue to try it, I think that you'd be surprised at the number of people that are able to do it.
Well, that number right now would be 0.
Well, that number might be 1 right now.
It might be 1. You're right.
It might be 1.
Except
again,
it's not.
I'm not trying to diminish the unlikelihood of what we're witnessing and what we've seen. I'm not trying to say that it's completely, that it doesn't seem absolutely astronomical. I understand the skepticism. I think that it's very well-founded skepticism and very well-founded questioning. But the thing that is becoming increasingly frustrating is this idea that, you know, with the first run, I get why people are all up in arms about that, sure. So we did everything we could, and when I say we, I mean Queen and myself and her other moderators and those that know her very well that helped her to get these things set up so that we could do it legitimately, so that we would take those questions off the table. And we did that, and then it was met with, initially, after you covered it, everyone was over the moon. It was amazing. It was fantastic. And then, unfortunately, there were people that just still weren't convinced, and then they decided to double down on the skepticism. And still, reasonably so. Sure, that's fine. But to claim, well, oh no, it has to be this way. It can't. It's just not possible. There's no way she can do it. But she did it. Well, and she can do it again.
So based off of that same argumentation, if you look at the other guy's video, I'm trying to remember who the what his name was in this video, and he actually used the same controls that she did, using the same blindfold.
Yes,
and Juzzy, yeah. So
yes, that's correct.
He did the exact same thing that she did under the same controls.
Well, hold on. He did not do the exact same thing she did.
How?
He did use the same because he did use a third monitor. He did look from his blindfold.
Well, she
at
did
a third
too.
monitor and completed the run by looking through the blindfold at that third monitor.
That's correct.
Queen Pwnzalot did not do that.
Did she look at OBS through the third monitor?
No.
How do you know that?
Because I know.
Okay.
I've seen her do this.
How would you expect anybody else to believe that?
I welcome the skepticism, but I'm also questioning whether...
Why hasn't she responded to it at all?
Well, because she was waiting for everyone's response, including the second video from Carl Jobs. And including your response.
Yeah, sure.
And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that she can replicate it any day of the week. And any...
This guy loves the shadow of the doubt term. But, you know, I guess I have some terms I say a lot. You know, like hot minute. Just saying. But I'm just, you know, where I'm not watching me, I'm watching him. And, well, I'm not watching him either because he's just in a Discord call. But he says that a lot. I'm just going to say. Dad loves say, put it this way. I think I've heard that one too. Usually when someone's trying to prove a point, right? Kind of like, put it this way, if you were in that situation, blah, 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 right? Yeah.
Any point, under any circumstance.
So what you're saying is that if the community provides a set of framework and constraints, in that case, she would be able to replicate the exact same thing.
Absolutely.
I wonder if Asmon has it in his head to like try to set something up. You know, that would be interesting. You know, he has his game show that goes on in like June, but that's a long time away. So I think he'd need to set something up a little sooner than that. But it does sound like he might be trying to.
Sure.
I think that she could cover all three of her monitors as she did on her stream. She could show Discord so that she isn't accused of someone being in the Discord call providing her directions. She could show her task manager to ensure that there are no other programs or third-party softwares running. She could show her download and installation folder from Monster Hunter to show that there are no auto-aim programs or damage modifications or anything else. And then she could do it again live on stream. Would that be and show a camera or two cameras depicting all of her monitors that nothing else is being shown?
I think that there probably have to be like I mean at this point I'd really have to think about it because it's something that's like very complex and this is something that's kind of new to me. So I'd have to really think about how many controls you would need. But I think that one thing that you would clearly need is that you would need a camera behind her and I would
that was my biggest thing I kept saying.
Camera to actually look at what she's looking at.
And you got to think about it more clearly, Asmon. Not only should there be a camera behind her, but it should be zoomed out, not in. Zoomed out so that you can see everything. You can have a couple of little cameras that are zoomed in on like her keyboard or whatever, or the monitors. But like you need that one camera that is zoomed out so you can see the entire fucking room and you know exactly what her setup is. Yeah. The reality is you can always zoom anything in. You can take something tiny and fucking zoom it in on your own system, right? Like you just need to know what's all there.
And then also, why wouldn't she just turn the monitors off?
True.
That interferes with her stream interface. So when she turns a monitor off, it changes her windows around. It can be very discombobulating on stream.
That's weird.
As you mentioned, even in your private video, she's not a huge streamer. It's not something that she has.
Turning them.
I am just gonna say, if turning off your monitor swaps your windows, then you have a shit setup. Like, set up your shit better. Like, I could literally turn off all my monitors and still run, like, say, my WoW character over to the bank, you know? And yes, I could do that blind, but then I've been playing the game for 20 years, so I know exactly, you know, if I know where I'm starting, I know exactly how to get there. That's like the only game I could probably play blind. But point is, yeah, I've been playing it for 20 years, so, like, yeah, I know how to get to everything. But, you know, the real point is that that's a bullshit fucking reasoning. Like, fix your shit. There's no reason turning off your monitor should be moving things.
The monitor off affected?
Well, I don't personally know because I'm not sitting there messing with her setup. But I from what she told me, the reason why she didn't want to turn her monitors off for the second run was because it would interfere with her stream. And that's why she chose.
I think she just wants to see chat. And like I said before, your chat will understand if you just do the run and then talk to them when the boss is dead. Like, yeah. Just take that right out of the situation so that you don't have more reasons for people to be, you know, doubting you.
To cover them.
I can't really... I can't really say, like, whether that's true or not, but after using OBS for many years, I cannot think of a single instance where turning off a monitor will affect the inputs and the OBS read of that monitor.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
That's fine. OBS was not on her third monitor. It was not on her monitor that she uses for chat.
Really? So then
Yes.
how would you explain, like, for example, the button presses, the 10-second button presses that are then moving to the right?
I don't know what she was moving at that point.
Well,
but
whenever she
OBS...
was, well, like,
Sure.
whenever she was setting it up, she was moving the mouse, and I'm not sure, like, I'd have to go back to, like, the initial video, but you can see the trajectory because she does have a mouse tracker along with the trajectory of the mouse. And you can see that she's holding down the mouse button and then moving and dragging a window around like this.
Correct. Right.
Sure.
I know. I understand what she's been accused of. I understand that. And I don't know what window she was moving into where, but I know that she did not move it to her third chat monitor and view, or excuse me, she did not move OBS to her chat monitor and look through her blindfold to watch OBS to complete her run.
Mm-hmm. And how do you know that?
I've seen her do it.
Did you see her?
She doesn't need it. Well, no,
So
I
she
wasn't
doesn't
in the room.
So yeah, you didn't. Well, what you're saying is, like, you didn't see this one, but that would not make logical sense to you that she would fake this one whenever she did other ones with watching you or with you watching her, and it was the same thing.
That's correct.
Okay.
And again, if we want to put that particular argument to rest, would it make...
Man, I'm just gonna say, if, you know, I would never fucking fake a blindfold. I don't agree with cheating and lying, and can safely say I've never done the two. Being blunt is a tough thing, okay? People don't like it. You know, and that's kind of what you become when you decide to not lie. You become the person that tells people, you know, what you're thinking. But I'm just gonna say, if this had been me and I had faked a blindfold, I would be mad at this fucking mod. I'm just gonna put that out there, because whatever hate she got after this fucking interview, she got because of this guy trying to protect her. You know, because it's a one thing she's got a lot of things against her right now. One, she faked a blindfold. Two, she's a girl. Hate to say it, but yes. And three, she's got this mod that's trying to be her white knight. And yeah, put all those together, that's a lot of hate she's either about to receive or has already received. Yeah, because now you are this useless girl that needed a mod to protect you after all this. Yeah.
Makes sense along that logic to say, well, if she covered all of her monitors so that there's nothing that can be seen at all, then would you agree that that would be consistent enough? If she can perform
I would want her to show me what the problem is with OBS and why she can't turn the monitor off.
Okay. Is turning the monitor off the same thing as covering it?
No.
Is that not sufficient?
No, you have to turn it off.
Okay. My question is why? I mean, that's fine. I'm just curious.
Because it removes a variable.
This so-called doctor, his voice keeps on changing from blunt to stuttering. When excited, most of the time he is lying to try to make a story. Yeah, like clearly he likes her, right? Like clearly it's a situation where, you know, I don't want to say maybe he wants more than, you know, he can get or whatnot, but he likes her enough to try to protect her. And the reality is, well, the reality is she should be talking to this mod and say, hey, I don't need someone to, you know, be my white knight, or, you know, I don't need someone to protect me, because this shit is gonna, like, she's not gonna be able to come back from this. You know, too many things. You could come back from a fake blindfold. You could come back from lying and cheating. There's lots of liars and cheaters out there. But you cannot come back from someone white knighting and going on a fucking stream where the viewers are a lot of people, you know, and these videos are getting like 500,000, and this guy is just trying to save your name, you know, like, yeah, you're never gonna come back from that shit. That is why you put a halt to that crap. Exactly. That's why I say it, because yeah, she's, you know, she looks decently young. You know, like maybe 30 or something, you know. Wouldn't it be horrible if she's like 20? That'd be so like me, calling a 20-year-old 30. To be fair, do you know who Tectone is, Staffo? I thought, and don't clip this and do not send this, but I thought he was like almost 50. And then I found out just recently that he is like, I don't even know if he's 30. I think he's like maybe approaching 30. And this is a guy that I thought was 50. So I'm probably the worst person to be saying, you know, what her age is. But you know, point is, you know, she's young, she's decent looking. This is a guy, you know, like, let's be honest, you know, I've had my fair share of Twitch mods myself, and yes, they fall in love with you, and they will pretty much protect you at every little fucking corner. And yeah, and you have to put a stop to that shit, especially if you're gonna be in the fucking spotlight like this. Yeah, I think she's probably in her 30s, you know, but, you know, you never know. Especially with girls that wear makeup, because it's funny, because girls wear makeup to, like, look better, but I'm just gonna say, girls that wear makeup look older. And I get that was, like, back when you're younger, that's the purpose. You're wearing makeup to get into bars and stuff. But, you're supposed to want to look younger, not older, you know? And that's how I put 30 with her. If she wasn't wearing the makeup, maybe I'd think she looked 20 or something. But girls that wear makeup look older than what they probably are. you know. Yeah. I've never liked makeup myself. I don't wear it. And, you know, and even now I'm getting older, you know, like I've started, you know, getting like, yeah, I have to be careful, you know. I have to, you know, sometimes I have like the baggy eyes and stuff. And, I don't give a shit. I really don't give a shit. I'm still not gonna wear the fucking makeup. And, yeah. Didn't do it when I was younger, and I'm not doing it now that I'm older. Right? It is life, you know, like it sucks sometimes, you know. Sometimes you don't want to see like the baggy eyes because people think you're tired, right? So they'll just think you didn't sleep or whatever. But you know, whatever. It happens. Happens to the best of us. It's called getting old. Yeah.
It's very simple. It removes the variable of potentially being able to see through what the pictures are. And if it's just simply removed, it would be gone.
So the reason why she hasn't responded is this idea that, well, even if she does it under all of these stringent specifications and all of the things that everybody's mentioning to her, and it takes all the advice of all the professionals and all the experts and whoever else questions it, and then she does it again, well, then what are they going to come up with? I mean, this person did something that I think...
Well, if a camera is behind her and you capture it like it should be captured, they can't say shit. Right? Like, the reason people can call this a fake blindfold is because when it's just a small little camera like that, yeah, anything could be going on. If it was much more expanded, then there's a little more, there's more to build on, right? But you're not, you know, she's in this room that you can't see. So yeah, I think if it was done properly and you could see the whole room, you know, there'll always be skepticals, you know, like I'm one myself, but I'll tell you, even as a skeptical, if I could see her whole setup and I could see her whole room and I could see what she's seeing, as in we see the wall because, you know, she can't see much past a wall, right? So, like, as long as you cover that shit, yeah, you can only be skeptic until you can't be, you know, like, you know, if you don't want people to be skeptical of it, then don't allow them to be. You know, make it so that they have to kind of be like, well, there's no way there's something else hidden, you know?
Should have been in a way celebrated, and she's been abused, harassed, threatened. It's not been fun for her.
Yeah, I get that. And so I think in terms of moving the goalposts, like what my goalposts would be, frankly, don't really matter.
If she is getting threats, that's wrong. You know, I don't think anyone should be getting threats, but this is the internet. It's not like people haven't gotten threats on the internet before. Like, you know, hot take here, but if you can't handle it, don't be on the fucking internet. I have always thought that, like, the minute you go on the internet, especially if you're a streamer or a YouTuber, you're putting yourself out there. So you're initiating it already at that point. You're putting yourself out there. You've got your face on your camera. Anything that comes after is your fault, basically, because you put yourself on the camera. So, yeah, it's like, if you can't handle it, just don't be on the internet, which I guess is, you know, she did stop streaming after, so.
And so, like, I don't want to set up a group of parameters, because I think that if anything, the one thing that the Carl video showed me is that it showed me that I don't know what I don't know. And if I was ever going to set a group of parameters for this, I would consult with people that know a lot more about it than I do.
For
because
sure.
At this point, I'm not confident in my ability to fully assess the situation in an accurate way. And I think this video has made me certain of that reality. And I don't feel bad about that or anything. It's just that you have to know what you don't know.
Of course,
And
understood.
So I'd
and
have to
part of
talk to
that,
these other people and figure that out myself.
and I agree with you in a way too. That the same thing happened to her. She did her initial blindfolded run on a whim on stream with no particular set of guidelines. She didn't know what she didn't know either. So she reached out to a credible expert who was a world record holder in that community and followed the exact specifications that he set out.
Well, what is his opinion of this?
I've spoken with Mitch Riz, and he is on the fence, admittedly. And one of the things that he mentioned in his initial message, this is why she actually didn't cover up her monitors at first when she was thinking about setting it up.
Sure.
He flat out said, if you have a proper blindfold on your face, it wouldn't matter if the monitor's in front of your face. Well, and so she actually kept the monitors blocked with any input information on it as an.
You know, I get that as a first run because, like, I'm trying to put myself into that situation and, like, yeah, I get it. You know, you're having fun, you're streaming. Maybe a fucking viewer is like, hey, you're good at this fight. You should do it blindfolded. And so you go get a blindfold. I could totally see myself being that person, right? Like, yeah, I could totally, because I'm interactive with stream, right? So, like, stream suggests something, I for the most part, depending on what the suggestion is, of course, but for the most part, I do it, right? Like, I will set something up for it. So that might have been how she did it, right? And so it was just meant to be this fun thing, and then it, you know, got covered by Asmon, mainly because he was playing Monster Hunter at the time, right? And because I originally, and I still think this, but I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt, but I think it was purposely done. Like, she's a small streamer. Asmon was playing Monster World. Like, come on, we've seen it a billion times and nobody makes a video with the intention that Asmon will react to it so that they can bring their, you know, she had 250 fucking followers. Like, come on. Like, are we really to believe that this was accidental? You know, like, you know, I think that there's a possibility. I'm not gonna say it's how it was, but there's a possibility that she did what a lot of other people do and make a video that she knew he would react to. You know, there's a lot of guys that do WoW videos like that, or they'll do MMO videos. You know, they'll do videos that they know he'll react to. You know, and yeah, I think she was hoping to, you know, maybe not get caught, but she's still lucky. She's still lucky because, like I said, Asmon gets good views, but your video could have gone viral and got a lot more views than Asmon can get you. And then you'd be answering to a lot more people.
An added proof to remove that variable.
I would want to see why what the OBS problem is.
Yeah, the OBS problem's weird.
I want to see what that OBS problem is, because I don't believe that. Like, I've streamed for many years. I've set up many streams.
Me too.
I cannot think of it.
Yeah, I've been streaming for 8 years. Never had that issue. All I gotta say is if that issue is accurate, then you need a better setup. Like, that's a crap-ass setup. Asmon has gotten me a couple of times, I will admit, because he might not have this, you know, shut off the monitor and windows move around, but man, does he have alerts on. So many times he'll do something and I'll hear the window sound go off. And I have, like, on my system, you can't hear the window sounds go off. It's like completely muted. I mute all notifications on my computer. I always have liked things muted, you know, like I'm just like that all over the place. And I'll still kind of be like, what the fuck was that? And then Discord is where he really gets me, which is hilarious because Discord I've had muted for like 8 years. You know, it's never alerted me. But he'll have his, you know, go off or whatnot, and or is it the one? No, it's his Discord. Yeah, because that did it. Yeah, and I will actually look at my Discord. You know, I won't open it or anything, but I'll look at like my notifications to see if something's going green. And yeah, so he's gotten me a couple of times with his fucking notifications, or sounds, I mean. Yeah, which is hilarious because I have everything muted. Like, there's no way it would be my end. But thank God now he's like, that's me, guys, not you. You know? So, and he does it in the nick of time, right? Because I'm about to like look around, and then he says that, and I'm like, whew, glad it's you, not me.
It turns the stream off, but rather her windows in themselves, because of the display settings on her various monitors, shift all of them around. And it's in a high stress situation on stream live in front of a couple hundred people, which is a large audience for her.
Sure.
That can get very stressful and under pressure. She didn't want to have to do all.
It can be under pressure. I'll give it that. It's been a hot minute since I've had that many people in my stream, but I still remember that stream when I had 1,000 in there. And yeah, that was a little under pressure, especially, you know, being small, and yeah, I could totally see that. Yeah.
All of that amidst the run when the world was watching. And so she thought, well, if I just cover them and I can't see through the paper and I have a blindfold
when the world is watching, what, 100 viewers is the world now?
Cover them if I'm wearing the blindfold, then that's just an added proof, an added check, an added variable that I can take away.
Did she print out the paper on stream?
Did she print the paper on stream?
Yeah.
No, they were purchased ahead of time.
So you're saying that whenever she made the constraints for it, she wasn't under that pressure?
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you mean.
So the implication was that the reason why
you know, why is the paper white? Like, why not make it black? You know? Like, you could maybe see some stuff through that. Yeah. Come on, skepticals. I found another loophole here.
Just got a message from Mitch Riz. He's actually watching right now. He's the world record holder. He would like to know if you'd want his opinion included.
The world record holder? Okay.
Hey, what's up, bro?
Hello?
Yo, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Okay. So you said you've been watching. What do you think?
I mean, I just joined like 2 minutes ago. But,
well, you probably saw the video though, right?
Oh yeah, I saw the video. Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
So I'm just 100% on the side of, you know, evidence, letting people prove things, you know, things coming to where they are, not leaving anything on belief. And the evidence right now, I think, and I've told Dapper this, I think the evidence right now points pretty strongly in the way of not meeting, I would say, the proof that would be needed for blindfolded. You know, I'm trying not to like put it too harshly.
Man, I was just gonna say, but he said it before I could get the pause off. But this guy, he doesn't want to like hurt her, you know, say, yeah, he's very careful of the way he says things. Unlike me, I'm blunt. I just say what I'm thinking, and yeah. But yeah, he is very careful of, you know, even the proof thing. Like, I'm the same way. I've been waiting for the evidence, but I already didn't believe, you know, that's the part he probably also was like that, but just chose not to say that. And then, yeah. And then the way he said, instead of saying clearly it's faked, he like, how'd he word that? He could have been like, clearly it's a fake run. But no, he worded it strongly
in the way of not meeting, I I would say the proof that would be needed for blindfolded.
Right.
I'm trying not to like
See,
put it
he
too
even
harshly,
laughs.
but,
If you were to create a percentage of like the likelihood based off of the evidence that's been presented to you that it was real after seeing the Carl video, where would you put that percentage that it was real?
I'd put it in the very low percent, not 0, because I can never give 100% certainty of anything.
How about 99?
Yeah, but
97?
Maybe. I could probably go 97, honestly.
Okay, all right. So yeah, that's about right. Okay, and so you basically gave her some insight into. So you've killed the boss. You've killed Altreon.
Sorry. No, I have not killed the boss. I'm an expert on blindfolded in other games.
Okay.
My main game is Sekiro that I've done blindfolded.
Okay. So what makes you, beyond the information that you saw provided in the videos, what makes you what makes you think that it's so low percentage that it's real? Is there anything that, like, for example, like Carl didn't have in his video where I haven't caught?
There is a couple of things. So, well, I mean, the biggest thing is
Here we go.
is from the get-go, the camera movement, of course, was humanly impossible, I think is a good way to put it, where it's not impossible, it's just humanly impossible. As in, we've never, ever seen anybody throughout any game, not Monster Hunter, not Sekiro, not Elden Ring, not
so you're confirming
any other game.
Because that's what I said too, is that I've never seen somebody.
But Buddy didn't like the word impossible.
Not run around randomly, not knowing what their camera is. Because so you play Sekiro. Sekiro has lock-on. Would you be able to complete a Sekiro blindfold run without lock-on?
For the bosses, I'm trying to think if there's any that I could. Well, there's one, but we use a cheese. We kind of stick him in the corner. But for legitimately fighting, running around, trying to find them, there's only one boss occasionally because the lock-on just breaks in the game. It's a little wonky. And basically the goal is just to get the lock-on back as fast as possible. So I would basically say no. If the lock-on breaks and I was never able to get it back, I don't think I could.
Okay,
I don't think I could kill the boss blindfolded at all.
And how many times do you think you've killed? Are you talking about Genichiro, how you get him in the corner and you hit him with the left side of the sword?
Yeah. That's the one that we stick him in the corner. The one that I was talking about where we can sometimes the lock-on just breaks is Gyobu. Sometimes he just runs too far away and the lock-on just goes away.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So how many times have you killed those bosses? If put a number.
At least thousands.
At
the very least thousands.
So, and that's individual bosses. You're saying you've killed each boss thousands of times, or you've collectively killed all the bosses thousands of times?
Both. I mean,
in
terms of, I can bring up my live split.
It's like, does it fucking matter, Asmon? Even if it was all together, 1,000 times blindfolded, like, you know the patient level you have to do that? Like, I don't got that kind of patience. No fucking way. Between my ragey anger and my lack of patience, there is no fucking way. So it don't matter, Asmon. I'd say he still knows what he's fucking talking about. Like 1,000 times, jeez.
Split and tell you my attempt counter for speedruns.
Yeah, sure.
Let me grab that. It's not going to be 100% accurate because sometimes splits get reset and split across different categories. But
using another computer, maybe. I have no idea.
I don't remember if I ever did another computer, but for specifically any percent, I have an attempt count of 6,292.
6,292. Okay, so logically you would assume that, and those are blindfolded runs?
No, those are not blindfolded.
Okay,
let me check blindfolded.
I guess the question that I wanted to ask in the long run is, if you could set a set of standards that we all could agree on, and she could repeat it,
The only way that I could do that would be if I was able to have somebody watching it in real life. I don't think there would be any way at this point because there's too much uncertainty. I think that you can control for almost any variable. So unless everybody else was in a consensus about this,
I think there's no way she repeats it. I'd be very surprised. It's like, at the end of the day, it's her stream. She can do what she wants. But she has stopped streaming. She took down her Twitter page. And she, this guy says that she's getting abused, which I can only imagine is verbal abuse, right? So, possible verbal abuse, harassment, yes. Harassment and threats. What makes you think she'd fucking walk back into this world? I'd be so surprised. Yeah, especially if she's getting threats. Yeah. It's like, at the end of the day, she's got to protect herself. She put herself on camera. It'd be different if she was a VTuber than whatever. Threats are... I'm not going to say threats are nothing, but, you're a little safer if no one knows what you look like. But yeah, she's got to protect herself.
You would need to have somebody there actually watching it themselves. And then also that person would need to have a degree of competency beyond a layman, such as myself. So I think that's probably the bottom line.
To do that.
Okay.
I have offered to do that as me and Dapper have, I don't know if this is a leak, sorry Dapper, but we've talked about the potential to have that happen. I would be happy to see it and have my mind changed. I might be one of the only people left that in the blindfolded community that has a percentage that isn't basically 100. But yeah, for blindfolded attempts, I found it. I've done 160 blindfolded runs to get my current PB of 1 hour 33. It's a long run, so it's hard to get that
Okay, so you had done more runs than she had for Alatreon that were blindfolded. Because whenever she initially was talking about how many attempts did it take her to kill the boss blindfolded, correct me if I'm wrong, Dapper, but I'm fairly certain you said that, or she said that it was under 20 and potentially even under 10.
Yeah,
I remember in one of her videos she said...
Yeah, did I not just say that would be impressive? Bullshit, it was under that. No fucking way.
Said half a dozen.
Yeah, at the first
okay,
at the
so
time
6.
of the first attempts. That's correct.
So there were 6 attempts, and so after
this
6
was her second run, she took 6 attempts to perform this on stream.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what about the first run whenever she did it blindfolded the first time?
I don't know how many times she practiced beforehand.
But it was a handful, though, right?
It was a handful on stream and probably about maybe a dozen, maybe 2 dozen off stream.
Right. Okay. So definitely a lot.
Practicing with a friend, directing her with a hunting horn, moving around the map, who was not blindfolded. Completely different set of circumstances.
Yeah,
it was It was not intended to be a solo run. It was supposed to be an on-stream, carefree, fun thing with a friend, working with her in the hunt. Completely different apples to oranges comparison.
Sure. Yeah, I understand that. So it does seem to me that it is very uncertain that, like, for example, I'm trying to think if there's another boss in Sekiro that I can use as an example. How about Gyobu? Could you do Gyobo blindfolded without lock-on at all? Because the majority of the attempts, and if you could, how sloppy would it be?
Oh, it would be very sloppy. I can guarantee it would be sloppy. The main thing for fighting anything in Sekiro is that you have to be looking at them, otherwise the deflect just doesn't function. They'll just hit you from behind. And you can't deflect
I played
them.
and beat the game, I know.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be the hardest part of it. In terms of generally keeping him some...
Wow. Did you notice the little brag there? Yeah, I beat the game. I know. Wow,
Asmon. In front of you, that's possible. I don't think the viewers would have a good experience.
Yes,
because
flex
every
is the
time
word I was
that,
looking for.
I do that. If I can't use lock on to center my camera vertically, every single time I end up staring at the floor or staring up into the sky. I can never keep the camera in the middle at all.
And this is with the
But
boss
I
that
think
you...
it could be possible.
But this is with the boss that you... I mean, I'm assuming out of 160 attempts, you probably got to Gyobo at least half of the time, right? If not, pretty much all the time.
Pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
Most of the attempts ended up dying at Guardian Ape, which is the second to last boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So... And you think that you would have massive camera issues even after, I would assume, like 150, maybe even almost, attempts at Gyobu. That's the guy. By the way, guys, that's the guy on the horse, and he's like, "My name is," like, that's that guy. He's like very, very early in the game. Also, much easier to kill than Alatreon.
I thought of Eminem too.
He's not that hard of a boss, to be honest.
No.
I was thinking of Slim Shady when he said that.
You can basically just block all of his attacks, just stand there blocking, and he can't really hit you.
Okay, yeah, I guess so. And so you think that the chances of her doing that legitimately, especially after seeing the camera move up and down, are just like so astronomically low that it is approaching things that are just not humanly possible?
Yes, I think that's absolutely the first easiest, sort of clearest way to know.
Yeah.
Of course, there's obviously the other stuff other than that. The first blindfold being obviously transparent, and it has to be folded to not be transparent. The second attempt, there is clearly a third monitor that is clearly on and has something on it and is clearly hidden intentionally from camera, to the direct counter to what I told her specifically, because she contacted me and I specifically said, hey, if you want to set up another camera, here's how you do it. You show all your monitors. Because if you didn't show a monitor, somebody could cheat like that.
So
make
you
sure
told her to show all
like
the monitors?
So in other words, this guy told her how to cheat. That's what I'm getting out of this conversation.
I don't think I specifically stated in exact words, show all your monitors. But what I did say, and actually...
It's probably show your monitor, like have a camera that shows your monitor, right? Something like that?
It was... I can give you the exact quote.
The only two monitors that display any game information or anything related to stream are her front monitor and left-hand monitor.
Well, that's not true, because the information related to stream would be her chat.
Well, it's chatty.
Which is related to her stream.
Right, the app chatty, but it doesn't display game information. It doesn't display
that's an app
game screen.
Okay.
Okay, so what I said exactly is, if you only show that the monitors in front of you are turned off, then it's always possible to have a monitor that isn't shown on the camera, unless you set up like 10 cameras to capture every inch of the room. So that is what I said. I specifically mentioned you need to, I guess I didn't say you need to show this, but I said if you don't show all of them, it's always possible to have one off screen that isn't shown. That is what I said.
So why do you think that she didn't cover the third monitor? Dapper.
She has her
cheat, obviously.
Chat information on her third monitor.
So,
and again, the
logic is that she didn't show the monitor because the monitor wasn't relevant. Is that correct?
That's point one. The monitor itself was not relevant. And the second thing is that she only had access to one additional camera. And in order to display her hands and mouse and the other monitors that would have had game information on it, she wouldn't be able to display everything all in one setting.
Well, of course she could. Couldn't she just turn the camera a little bit more to the right and then have all three of the monitors within view? Because
not the way that her monitors are set up on her desk. No. We both tried to do that. We tried to arrange it so that everything was shown. You could either only see one or not the other, and we could get the most information that people would want to see and have questions about with the camera angle that was chosen.
What's he looking?
So,
her.
If that's the case, and she didn't think that monitor would be relevant to the conversation, and it was okay that she had that monitor uncovered, then why didn't she read chat at the beginning whenever that person said that they were going to make up another lie? So what ended up happening,
they were going to make up another lie,
and that's why I wanted to ask you this question, is that if you're saying that she didn't do it because she didn't think the monitor would be relevant, she didn't think the third monitor would be problematic, then why was she pretending to read it off of the sheet of paper rather than reading it off of the chat on the third monitor?
I don't know. I wasn't there to ask her that question myself.
If you were me in this situation and you saw that happen, what would you think?
Right. I think I can understand what you're at least implying or insinuating.
Yes.
You're insinuating that
with the present amount of information, it's obvious that she was trying to make people believe that she only had 2 monitors, because if she wasn't, she would have covered it. And if she thought that having the third monitor be there in the first place was okay, she
clearly, yeah. Like, it wasn't even mentioned that she had the third monitor. Like, what? Yeah, I'm just gonna, my dad used to say something to me back when I was a kid, and I always called bullshit on it all the time, but now it makes sense. And he always said, leaving out details is also lying. I always hated when he would say that. It'd be like, leaving out details is a white lie, but it's still a lie. Yeah. That would be the days when I would walk in 2 hours late. I'd be like, I had a part-time job at that time. I was still in school and stuff. And I'd always be like, I'd do some little, truth but not truth. Like, I came home right after work. I didn't stop nowhere. And he was always the worst. Like, I was always so worried when I got into trouble because he was the parent. Okay, basically how our house was is there was this big window out the front, right? Like probably most houses have, but it was this big window and the curtains would be kind of like this. And he would always, go sleep around, I don't know, like 9, somewhere like 9, 10, somewhere around there. And if I was not in trouble, he would just turn the lights off, go sleep, and, talk to me the next day. But if I was in trouble, he would have the lights on. So anytime I walked up to the house and if the lights were on in the living room through that fucking window, I was scared to keep walking up to the house. I always knew that he was sitting in that fucking chair waiting for me to open the fucking door. Yep. Yeah, it never was good, guys. Never.
She wouldn't have tried to hide and then stop herself mid-sentence and then read
random
it off of the
blab
second monitor
there
again if she was okay that the chat was there on the third monitor. And if she knew that the third monitor was compromising her, then she would have never looked on the second monitor. And if she knew that... Go ahead.
Sorry. She was now. I don't think that she was ever trying to hide the presence of a third monitor at all. Period. Okay. I don't think that she was trying to mask anything.
Yeah. Why does this seem like a trial going on? This her lawyer. The funny part is this has already gone on longer than I ever thought it would. This is the 4th video, and yeah, it's just, crazy.
Really was, in my opinion, or at least I would think her opinion, a non-issue.
If it was a non-issue, then why didn't...
And again,
then why did she why did she look under the paper for the second monitor? She said, I forgot what you said, and then she turned around and tried to look under the paper for the second monitor. Why would you logically do that? Like, for example, it's like if you have one monitor and it's running chat, and you have another monitor with the sheet over it, and it's also running chat, and you're reading off of the third monitor, and then you stop yourself. You're like, wait, what did you say again? And then you pull up the sheet of paper to look on the second monitor. It doesn't logically make sense. And also, I think that there is proof that she had OBS on the third monitor. And I think the proof for that is the fact that after she pulled up the blindfold, she moved her hair back as she looked towards the third monitor. I've never seen a person do that when they're not looking in the mirror.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't there, so I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, sure.
Again,
it's not your stream.
I'm relying. Yeah, I'm
I get
relying
it.
on a lot of past information, and it's difficult for me to answer questions about what's going on at that particular moment.
Of course.
And as a person, again, I'm trying to look at this from a bird's eye view here, because again, Asmongold, you are a true professional.
Well, not at speed running these games and being able to tell that they're fake. I don't know that. I'll tell you that.
No. I'm saying as a streamer though, and so whenever a person who has been streaming, in her case, for 10 to 30 to 70 viewers, she just got partner literally a week and a half before this all happened, and all of a sudden her stream explodes and the world comes after her saying that everything she did is international attention in front of a large audience such as yours, and overnight practically explodes, and then is expected to perform a world record yet again under extremely stringent specifications while the entire world is watching. I think it's understandable for someone to get a little flustered. And I'm not saying that just, okay, so she's flustered, so all this stuff just goes out the window. But what I'm asking you is to give her the opportunity.
I think you are saying that, buddy.
Under any specifications that any expert out there would recommend.
That's a good point.
Give her a chance to prove that she can do what she says she can do.
If you want to throw the gauntlet down, I'm sure that there are people.
The only problem with that is this is not the first video. People allowed her to prove it. She even did a video herself saying, hey, I'm not a cheater off the first one. And then that's what ignited her to do the next one with the new blindfold. So it's like, how many chances are you gonna give her?
There are apparently 2 different inputs. She has a streaming PC and she has a gaming PC. And when she turns her monitors off, multiple inputs could cause one of the inputs to default to one of the other PC monitors. Or the other PC.
What software does she use to do that with?
I don't know.
Ask her. Because this is I do know about.
Yeah, I knew he was going to ask more questions because he has that. I've seen him many times where he powers down his computer, but yet he's still streaming. So yeah, he definitely has a streaming and gaming PC.
Add someone else to the call who may be able to answer the more technical aspects, because I honestly don't know them.
Absolutely.
If I may, while we're waiting, I would very graciously ask that if we are given the opportunity for her to, as you said, throw the gauntlet down, that you would allow her sufficient time to collect herself before.
I think if he allows her to, this has to be the last one. Play it like a baseball. She's already struck out twice. Like if she strikes out a third time, can we just call a cheater at that point?
It can be very emotionally charging time for a person who is only a human being and has been put on an international stage in front of literal millions of people that don't believe she did something that she did indeed do. And that if any one person in this chat or on the stream or anyone had been accused of a crime they didn't commit, I think that you would be very
Buddy, with the crime thing, like, this isn't a crime. Like, she didn't go murder someone here.
And that it may take time for her to get the proper setup, ensure that she has all the proper specifications, and to emotionally ready herself too, because she understands she's under a microscope.
Okay. Who's the other person you're adding in?
I'm sorry. I'm adding them in.
Yeah, and you're right. Obviously, being put under pressure like that. By the way, I understand that you're right. I understand. Yo, what's up?
Hi.
Hey.
Well, that don't sound like her.
How can I help?
Is this a robot?
Good question. Dapper,
yes, I added you. I added you the call because you were.
We added
in
AI.
getting Queen's PC set up and can answer more questions related to her monitors being turned off and why that would be problematic for her.
Right. So on one of her monitors, the one that is covered, it has two inputs: one for the streaming PC, and the other one for her main gaming rig.
Yeah.
And
In chat, one of the guys was like, "He's also a doctor." You know, this is the #1 reason I watch Asmon's stream. Well, it's videos usually, you know, because I stream. But so I usually miss him. But it's his chat. His chat is like #1 the reason. Don't get me wrong, Asmon is entertaining. I wouldn't watch him if he wasn't. But it's a different level with the chat. I don't know if I would watch as much if I wasn't reading the chat along with watching him. You know, like his chat is, yeah, it's just hilarious. Yeah.
And sometimes turning it off and on again, it defaults to the other monitor.
What software does she use?
OBS on the streaming PC.
In order to set up the 2 PC setup?
Yeah. So it's running through a Elgato capture card.
Which one?
4K. I can't be too certain on the specifics.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
pretty much the same capture card we all fucking use. Okay, so answer this question nice and easy, Asmon. Because, like, she's not using anything super fancy here. We all fucking, you know, well, I won't say we all, but streamers and content creators that are building their content, they, you know, we all use those. Yeah.
Well, let's find out. So I'm streaming right now. I'm using a 2 PC setup.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using the Elgato 4K capture card.
Yeah,
I just turned off my monitor.
I knew he'd be able to because, like, the girl's using the most common fucking capture card.
And the screen didn't change.
It didn't change the input?
No.
No.
Why would it?
No.
And what do you mean by the input?
One is on HDMI cable and another one is
internal
DisplayPort, I believe.
Mm-hmm. No, it does not change the input at all in any capacity. As you can see, I can move my mouse around, and it's kind of hard to tell, but there's my screen. I don't know if you can tell right from there. And then there's the blank monitor, and then on the other side, there's the chat. So, if you turn the monitor off, it will not have any effect whatsoever on OBS, because OBS is capturing the information that's being put on the screen regardless. It's not like the monitor removes the information, it just simply stops displaying it.
Well, I can't be sure, but she might be running OBS from her main PC, but maybe she ran into some kind of issue.
Well, she was running it from her main PC. And the way I can tell that is that she...
all I'm hearing from this, you know, let me put my water down, professional... is a lot of mights. You know, everything he says is she might be using this, maybe this happened, possibly. Like, yeah, this is not a credible fucking person, Asmon.
What do you call it? She was showing OBS on her main PC as well. So you don't know whether she was using a 2 PC setup or not?
At the time, I don't know if she was using the 2 PC setup, but if both of them happen to be on at the same time, that's when the input issue could occur. The display. I mean.
Both of the 2 PCs were on at the same time?
Yeah.
Well, I don't really think that makes sense. Because...
I think if
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just think I understand that we're trying to get to the bottom of that particular question. I think the answer is just to say, okay, for the next run, you turn all the monitors off.
I do think that the monitors would have to be off. Every single monitor would have to be completely off.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure, done. Again, I want to be transparent.
And we have to see all those monitors from a distance. Because she could go get a 4th monitor, right? Like, we can't just be showing 3 monitors and then trust that she didn't go out and buy a 4th. So that's why you zoom out the fucking room.
I want to work with the community. I want to try to do everything I can and for her to be as transparent as possible, because we understand that we're under such scrutiny. I'm not trying to dodge anything. I'm not trying to get away with something. I have nothing to hide. She has nothing to hide. She did not cheat.
Nothing to hide, but everything to benefit, right? Like, you know, I think this has already gone too far, but you know, I'm kind of we'll see how this ends, but I'll be pretty impressed if, you know, if something is set up at the end of this fucking video for her to do a third, you know, proof of whatever.
So I'm not sure what's the name of the person, that the third person that was added that explained the tech stuff. Sorry, I'm not sure if I got your name.
McGleaves.
I'm just gonna say before he continues, the real person that should be added to this conversation is her. Like, the fact that Buddy, what's his name, Doppel or something, the fact that he is talking to her through, I'm guessing text, you know, since he's on voice. She should be on here, you know, in voice. You could hop on the fucking voice, stick up for yourself, rather than having this white knight sticking up for you, making things worse for you. Like, if it was me, I'd be on that fucking voice. If anyone's gonna believe anything, it's gonna be because you said it yourself, not because someone else is sticking up for you. Yeah. Like, she needs to be on this call.
So what do you think?
I think it's entirely possible that she actually managed to do it. I've seen her kill this this monster multiple times. Sometimes while
Must
she's
be
playing,
another
and she
mod.
could turn around and look at you and still be killing the monster. So I think it's entirely possible.
Do you think it's likely?
Yes.
Okay. So why do you think that your opinion of it is so much different in terms of like your likelihood than somebody who does blindfolded speedruns all the time?
Well,
yeah.
I may be biased because, you know,
Yeah, I was just gonna say, is this guy even a professional in fucking speedrunning? Like, wasn't he brought into the call because he helped set up her computer or something? Like, I'm pretty sure that's why he was brought in.
Seen her do it personally, you know.
Okay, so you've seen her do it personally. So you've seen her do it personally, and whenever you say personally, do you mean in person or you've seen it yourself?
In person, physically, yes.
You physically.
So that's 2 people that have seen it in person. Interesting.
Seen her do Altreon blindfolded.
Not blindfolded, not per se.
You see that guy in chat? He's like, haha, he wishes.
Okay. But as she's playing, like looking around the room,
I love
like,
chat,
you know,
so much.
She's not even looking at the screen.
Yeah,
she isn't even looking at the screen sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that.
That's why I'm saying it's likely.
Yeah. Okay. So both of you like effectively know her in real life, and so it would make sense that you're both able to actually see her do this in person and everything. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to think about whatever else there is to it. because like, yeah, I think that it just seems extremely unlikely that she's able to center her camera in the extent that she is. And also, you said that you helped her set up all of her tech stuff?
Yes.
Can you explain what each monitor would be for?
Usually the left-hand monitor would be for OBS, middle monitor, obviously the main gaming monitor, and over the right-hand side, Chatty and sometimes Spotify.
Also, the Control and Alt keys in Monster Hunter center the camera. And
man, I'm just gonna say, like, girl, learn some stuff about computers. Like no one should be setting up your shit except for you. Like, no wonder you're worried to turn off your fucking monitor because something might pop up on screen. Like, set your own shit up so that you can get to know your setup and you can fix it when problems occur because you're the one that fucking set it up to begin with. Like, yeah, that's your first mistake right there.
And Asmongold, may I ask a question? Because I'm trying to formulate the conditions for which we would potentially be repeating this. As you all could understand, the entire run itself, in anywhere between 10 to 15 to 20 or as many as 30 minutes for a completed run, of course, is a notable feat. My question to you is, if this is a question of her camera, of her ability to center her camera, then would you say that it's fair that all she has to do is replicate a small portion?
Is he going in to fight the boss?
5 minutes, rather than the entire thing.
I don't know that, because I don't like. So, as I said, after this video, I don't know what I don't know.
Okay, that's fair.
So
I like the first screen there.
So Control and Alt buttons recenter the camera. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, give me 1 second.
I will admit, all this talk of the Blindfold run and then him hopping in game makes me want to play it. Not blindfolded, fuck that, but it does make me want to play the game.
I'm gonna go ahead.
You can see her use it not in the first attempt, but she does use it in the second kill. She uses Alt a few times. She never uses Control. But they are, I think I counted a total of 2 times.
So he's just going in to kill buffs?
Vertically, and almost every other time is to make a snap 90-degree turn, not to center the camera vertically.
What's master rank?
Okay, so if I use...
I think she uses it in total around 6 or 7 times.
Okay. So
man, that's an awesome
make sure
weapon.
That I'm inside of the... I'm inside of the boss fight with Altreon, so we have a complete perfect test for this. Give me 1 second and make sure I get my food buff and everything so I don't get hit in 1 kill. So you're saying that in order to maintain the camera elevation, what she ended up doing was she was pressing the Alt key, which is what recenters her camera, in order to keep that in the same position. Is that correct?
I'm saying she did not do that.
Did he name his pet McConnell?
Instances where you could argue that she used it that way. There were 2 instances where her camera was a bit high. She pressed Alt and it reset to neutral. And every single other time that she wanted to reset it to neutral, she did it manually using her mouse.
I guess it makes sense. McConnell's kind of been his pet for years.
That it wasn't neutral if she was blindfolded?
I don't know.
If you had to guess.
Do not know. My guess, or at least the explanation that I believe that she would give, and I'm confident that she would give.
What's he trying to do?
Setting in the game audio settings, called 3D audio, which claims to give an idea of whether a monster is above or below you in a 3D sense. As far as I'm aware, headphones are not good at that at all, and the human ear itself is horrendously bad at telling up from down. It's actually a well-known audio phenomenon where you can very easily be confused and think something that's above you is coming from below you, because the human ear just we've got an ear on each side of our head, so left and right is easy to hear. Up and down sucks.
So if I look at for example, hitting the button to recenter the camera, there's never an instance where recentering the camera will ever aim at Altreon's head.
Right.
Like, there's never a time where, for example, if I recenter the camera, it would aim at the head of Altreon. It would consistently keep it moved to where it was in a certain direction. And also, like, I'll tell you that, like, at least from my experience, you definitely can't tell whether it's... And, like, again, I've killed this monster literally once on the actual mode and once on easy mode. So I don't really know what I'm talking about in terms of, like, the nuances of it. But there's, like, no way in my mind to be able to hear any sort of audible difference whenever the monster's head is above or below you.
Yeah, I attempted it myself, and I could not tell. I was looking up at the ceiling for 3 attempts. I was looking at the floor then for 2 attempts, where I was trying not to look at the ceiling. I was actively trying to push my camera down, but I, in 0 attempts, ever kept the camera horizontal, despite all my blindfolded practice. The only way that I could is there's a setting in the game settings where you can actually turn off vertical camera movement at all. Like, it just only goes horizontal.
Yeah.
And that was super helpful, and I was surprised
that
that was not used.
So this fight's pretty easy if you don't go near him.
Speedruns all use that setting.
Or they did
Just
a lock
saying.
on. I think actually every other
he's not
one
losing
that I've
any
seen has
health.
used a lock on. I don't think any of them have used the locked up and down.
You could run around for probably 30 minutes
I think they
here.
just didn't want to deal with like trying to echolocate the entire fight.
Right.
In Sekiro, the only times I ever echolocate are when the lock-on misses, or a couple times I have to grab an idol, which makes like a low hum, but it's horrible strategies. I hate when I have to do it, but there's just a couple times you have to.
I understand.
Asmongold,
yeah.
May I add our resident Electron expert who taught her how to fight the monster to maybe explain some of the techniques as an expert in this monster?
Sure.
Well, if we're gonna add yet another person, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I grabbed some food. Damn video. Okay, let's do this.
And also, like, I will say that the way that the camera is readjusted in the situation that you're talking about with, like, holding the Alt or the Control key does not reflect at all the way that she recentered the camera. It's immediate, it's extremely, like, robotic, and there are no micro adjustments that happen at all, and it never recenters the camera on the head, and it actually recenters the camera in front of where the character is facing. So, like, if my character is facing this way, it will recenter it 90 degrees.
I thought there was a new guy coming in.
If my character's running left, it will recenter it left.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying before, that it's used a few times throughout the run, but it's never specifically used to... Well, it's used maybe twice to center vertically, and it's never used to aim on the head.
It's never, it's never used to readjust.
Yep, exactly.
So the person that you're adding in is the person who, like, knows a lot about killing the boss?
I do.
Okay. How many times have you killed the boss?
8,800.
Okay.
Jeez.
Do you think that the kill that she did while she was blindfolded was legitimate?
I don't think I like any boss in any game that much.
There's been a lot of times that I've seen her personally run it in Discord.
Can you do it?
I did it 2 years ago.
Where?
2-3 years ago, something like that.
Damn, how old's this game?
Once upon a time. On there.
But there's like, okay. So you were able to do it blindfolded, and what do you think about the video that was released about it?
About Carl's video?
Yeah, Carl's video.
I watched bits and pieces of it.
Bits and pieces?
So I watched his and Abyssot's, actually. I actually found Abyssot's to be better.
Okay.
More explanation.
So what did Abyssot, what was the...
Well, Avasov actually like consulted Bubsy, and he went through and kind of showed like the ability to peek through said bottom of the blindfold. I guess the blindfold that was recommended by all of the professional blindfold speedrunners.
Me. It was recommended by me.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, Mitrix. You and I have not had a chance to actually speak yet.
Mitrix, and also, can you, if you tilt your head in a certain way, can you see through that blindfold?
Through? No. Below? Yes.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Below. The side? Yes. Yeah.
Man, I'm just waiting for something to happen, because there is 5 people in voice right now. Yeah, because there's him, that doppel guy, the mod, and then there's that second guy. I'm thinking that these 2 guys are like roommates, right? They gotta be. They both seen her, unless it's, unless they just went over to her house and watch her do a blindfold run. But I'm thinking they all live together, right? If they are being truthful about actually seeing it in person. They could just be saying that just to try to make you believe it that much more. But I'm thinking that her and those 2 probably live together. And then there's the professional blindfold guy, like the one that did the Sekiro, then this new one. And I'm just gonna say, you get that many voices in a chat, something is about to go.
it is possible with any blindfold, like any blindfold, to potentially see down, because it just creates a gap with your nose. The one that I recommended does have a little fabric flap that's sort of supposed to prevent that, because it's a sleep mask. That's what blindfolds are
effectively
for, without getting yourself investigated by the FBI or something.
Although this is a YouTube video, if anything went down, it got edited out.
Yeah. No. Yeah. But so it's supposed to keep the light out from the bottom, but that little fabric flap at the bottom doesn't do a great job. I can definitely see out through a hole next to my nose if I try to.
So like what you're saying is that if for example you did tilt your head in a certain way with that blindfold on that you suggested, you could very easily be able to see the screen.
Or McConnell getting brutally destroyed over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh. Is this
well,
fuck.
I mean, I don't even really know what else to say. I mean,
yeah. I couldn't think of the name, but there's always that mode. WoW used to have it, remember?
It's kind of crazy to me that pretty much
there's always that rage mode, I think it's called, where you've just taken too long to fucking fight him, and he's just gonna one-shot kill you no matter what you do. Yeah. So I guess that game has that.
every single other person who's done any sort of blindfold speedrunning at all doesn't think it's legitimate. And that's what I think makes this interesting, is that you said that you think that it is. Is that correct?
Sorry, are you addressing me?
Asriel, right?
Yes, Asriel. Sorry. There's a lot of new people. I'm a little bit confused.
No, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm trying to figure out who you're addressing.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I find it to be legitimate. I have no reason not to believe so.
So, what about the evidence that was presented? Like, for example, that she had the third monitor and she had OBS on the third monitor? What do you think?
I've seen the setup. It's chatty. So chatty doesn't reflect the video.
I'm just going to say, the first guy that entered this call, like, how do you think these guys are entering the call? He's bringing them all in, right? Of course they're going to say this. They're all friends of hers. Yeah. None of this shit matters, Asmon.
Can't she move OBS
I guess
to the
there's
monitor with chatty?
I mean, it's very possible that she did. I don't see why she did. Like, I don't see a camera on it moving it over, so I can't verify that. The only person that would honestly know would be her, correct?
Not necessarily, because like, so whenever Carl showed his video, and this is a pretty important part of the video, he showed that she had the mouse button clicked down, and then the mouse was also detecting, because the mouse, it detects all movement, right? Including
Correct.
clicks
So
and
by the
also
same token, she could have been dragging Spotify. She could have been dragging whatever over there, correct?
Why
Yes,
would you
that
be
is
dragging
correct,
Spotify?
don't you find it
so
to be
evident, like evidence? Yeah, no, I find all of the speculation. I find that he took 2 weeks to come up with a whole bunch of plausible ideas.
I'm just gonna say these are bullshit responses. Like, put yourself in that situation. You're doing a blindfold run in front of a stream of probably a decent amount of people at this point, because, you know, she grew her stream from that first video, right? And yeah, if it was me doing a blindfold run in front of a bunch of people, the very last thing I would want is, like, I would want to remove any doubts. And by removing, like, in order to do that, like, don't click anything. Don't click anything on your screen. No need to move anything. You know, if it's Spotify, why is it even up? Like, you know, and there's no need for it to be up, right? The chat, you don't need to talk to your chat until the fight is over. You know, they know it's a challenge. It's, you know, not like it's a putz around moment or anything, you know, and like, just remove all those doubts and then you wouldn't have this kind of situation, right? So the way I see it is, if you're not going to remove those doubts, there's a clear reason why you wouldn't.
So what I'm saying is that we're all talking about how these things are unlikely, that it's very unlikely that she did this. It's very unlikely. It's unlikely. It's unlikely. It's a 3% chance. It's a 97% chance this isn't real. What I'm asking is to, like I mentioned before, just repeat it. Repeat it.
And the difference between the first time and the second time is that whenever I made that value judgment, I didn't know how much I was uninformed about the different nuances of any sort of speedrunning and doing it with a blindfold. So my value judgment there was inaccurate and uneducated. And I would say even in the case now, it is still inaccurate and only partially educated. And if I was looking to make constraints about actually doing a legitimate run, I would consult somebody who knew.
You know, I'm just gonna say, if this was a guy, this would be history by now. The only reason this has gone on so long is because this girl has 5 guys sticking up for her in a voice call. Yeah, like, yeah. Like, I don't use the word simp ever. But yeah, that's pretty fucking clear. Yeah.
Knew more about it than I did. So using me as a reference to myself whenever I refer to myself as an unworthy or unreliable, way to judge it, I don't really think that's a very good argument.
Okay. I guess I was just saying that just because something seems unlikely doesn't mean that it's impossible. And
but if something seems unlikely, it's more... It's probably not happening, right? I mean, like, is it likely to flip a coin and get heads 2 times in a row? Yeah, sure. Is it likely to flip a coin and get heads 200 times in a row? No. Are they both possible? Yes. Is the probability of each instance the same? No, it's not. So just because there is a probability of something not being true or being true doesn't equate all probabilities to each other. Like, you're talking about like a likelihood of, like, yeah, maybe this is possible versus, yeah, maybe the people that are looking at this that have more experience in this than probably any of us do playing the base game even also think that it's improbable.
Sure. And then in that vein, I will concede that it is incredibly unlikely, and I don't want to push anyone too far. I don't want to get
doctor
into
says
anything heated or a debate or anything. It's not my intention.
Sure.
I would very much like for her to be given an opportunity to demonstrate that she can indeed do this under the correct constraints of a professional, such as Mitriz or his colleagues, who would be able to set up the constraints and control.
This is like so stupid, right? Like she's had 2 chances. What are you gonna say after she flunks the 3rd chance? Yeah, you gonna say she needs a 4th? Is this just gonna keep going on till she's on like the 10th chance?
Trolls to do this in a transparent fashion, given enough time to allow herself to ready herself emotionally, physically, and to be able to perform it again under the proper standards.
And also, I mean, like, I do find it to be interesting that whenever the first video came out that was disproving her, she had no problem coming out right away and saying, this video is bullshit, I'll prove you wrong. And now the second time,
she's hiding.
She's not doing that.
Yeah.
That to me seems to be very interesting. And I think that the reason why is that the first video, the people that were like, basically the accusations that people had were wrong.
You know why? Because you can fuck up once, right? But you can't fuck up twice. And you most certainly can't fuck up a 3rd time. That's why if for whatever reason, you know, it is set up for her to try to prove it, if she fails the 3rd time, she's out. Like, it's like baseball. Most of the time, you're lucky if you even get a 2nd chance. So if you're getting a 3rd and then you flunk, yeah. But that's why she doesn't come out, because, you know, what's she gonna say? There's nothing she can say at that point. Doesn't mean she shouldn't. Oh, I thought it was paused. Doesn't mean she shouldn't. She should definitely be in this call, you know, sticking up for herself, more or less. Because the reality is, like, yeah, these guys are sticking up for her, but that's what she's known for now. You know, she's going to be the person that did a fake blindfold run, you know, did a video to try to prove her innocence, did the 2nd blindfold, which is what led to it being confirmed fake, and then had a bunch of, you know, I hate to use the word, but simps in a voice call with a top-end streamer to try to prove her innocence. Yeah, like she's done. She's just done at that point. Like, how are you coming back from that? Yeah.
There's no way that anyone can definitively prove what was moved where. There's no one that can definitively prove if she was able to see through or looked underneath the blindfold. And it is a very convincing argument. There's a lot of suggested evidence there. I'm not saying that there isn't. Not at all. I'm saying that if that is truly the question, can she do this or not, under the presence of all the right constraints and doing it correctly with all the experts involved, would that then be enough?
I don't know. I really don't know. And that's the truth. I would have to look and see what that proof would be. And I would have to see, I would try to figure out who it was and what it was that you would need for proof. Because
I say no. Because she already did the fake. Right? Like, this would be a whole different story if she didn't get caught. But she already got caught. The only thing she's ever going to be remembered for now is this fake blindfold run. So it don't matter what she does now. Like, yeah, that's the loveliness of the internet. I'm not saying she's done as a streamer or anything, but like this is done. No one's ever gonna believe that you successfully, beat that boss blindfolded. They're always gonna think something went on. And even more so now that we know that these two people are close enough to possibly be roommates or at least friends that can come over to her house. Like that honestly made it a little more severe in my eyes, as a skeptical, because now anytime she does it again, they could be there helping her somewhat, right?
I don't know enough about it myself.
Okay. I look forward to more conversations with Mitriz and whomever else that we could talk to that would.
I still think, although it is a little into the future, but I think if they are going to give her a third chance, the game show, that would be the best place. Unless TwitchCon is coming up. I don't know. Well, I guess TwitchCon's in June, I think. So everything's in June, basically. So it's a long time to wait, but if she's going to get a third chance, I would think it would probably be either, her going to TwitchCon and doing it there, or maybe being invited to the game show that he does. But either or, that's a while away. By then, people pretty much have forgotten about it because drama is pretty short-lived on the internet. Yeah, we'll be on to something new soon.
Be able to give us that information in a transparent fashion so that we could do this.
Okay, great. Yeah, that sounds good. If she welcomes it and she's okay with that, then yeah, that sounds good to me.
So what was the actual?
Your time.
Hold on.
I know. Can she do this or not? Under the presence of all the right constraints and doing it correctly, with all the experts involved, would that then be enough?
I don't know. I really don't know. And that's the truth. I would have to look and see what that proof would be. And I would have to see, I would try to figure out who it was and what it was that you would need for proof. All right, goodbye. Yeah, holy shit, man. Like, I mean, if they're still defending it, I'm actually very surprised. Yeah, I mean, like, I still think it's I do think it's bullshit. But at the same time, I'm pretty interested.
I think it's bullshit too. And I guess it'll make good entertainment for Asmon. And, well, anyone else, actually, It doesn't take much to watch it and upload it.
Yeah, at this point, I want her to do it for real. Yeah. Yeah, I think that people should come up with the parameters, figure out what they're going to be, and then go from there. They're on the payroll. I don't know,
5
man,
more
but,
cameras.
Holy fuck. That was a rabbit hole I did not expect to go down that deep. God damn. Be honest? Yeah, no, I still think that it's totally fucking fake, but I'm also very surprised about what happened.
Perfect opportunity for someone else to fucking do it, right? She is fucked up twice. Like, I personally hope there's someone out there being like, this girl fucked up, I'm gonna, roam my way in, and they just fucking knock it out of the park, right? That's what I hope happens.